Monday, sending out your orders to you. And he's on the phone with us before he has to get all the packaging tape in his hair. Good morning, James. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, Joe, and you're right. It has been a busy weekend. A lot of people have been taking advantage of our zero premium silver options at jcsgold.com. We are selling silver for at spot prices, which is pretty much unheard of. So it's very unique times for silver. Friday was a monster day for gold. Gold went up about $75 on Friday, which was a huge move for gold. It's currently at $3,355. I don't know if you remember last week, it was flirting right there with the $3,300 dollar level, and it's well above that now. Silver is also trying to make a comeback here at $37.17, currently up about 0.5% so far today.
Holy Hunt Brothers, Batman. And I know folks, go around and they look for these opportunities to get in there. And this past weekend, it was one of the silliest things. I mean, if Virginia, our home state, ever wanted to admit that their taxes were superfluous, the fact that they can just forego them for a whole weekend and say it's back to school, so, anything that qualifies. See, I would like to see them say that silver and gold investment is part of the back to school tax exempt weekend. But you do enough of that on your own with your spot prices and such, James, so we appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the good thing about gold and silver bullion is that gold and silver are tax exempt 24/7. So you can always get gold and silver without having to pay any sales tax on that, which is great.
And they'll come after it later, of course, but that's a point. How many times can we tax you in a year? James, thank you, sir. Good luck packing up all the stuff to send it out there, and thank you for the update on gold and silver.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joe.
jcsgold.com is the website, or you can call them, test them out. It's a family business. So you'll talk to actual members of the actual Luck family or their closely held staff at 434-979-COIN. So I asked the question earlier, and Hamp down in the Treasure Coast, of course, up to the task, went and found a story by People magazine all about Sydney Sweeney's parents. Because, the ad, of course, says genes. She's got great genes. I'm like, has anyone bothered to go to find out her parents, since genes, genetics? And I was like, and what do you know? Hamp's text message that sends this link to, I guess this is from March of 2024. This is before the controversy. This was before Nazi, who's got the Nazi. Apparently, Sydney Sweeney's hair is not naturally blonde. Oops. Because that's the inflammatory stuff that the Nazi, who's got the Nazi crowd is out there with their brown shirt scare. Of course she's a Republican. She's a Nazi. This goes back to the same crap I lived through in Charlottesville in 2017. Is that, if you disagree with a government that says, by the way, if you disagree with the nationalist socialist movement of the American left, you must be a Nazi somehow. Never quite figured that one out. This text message, oh my goodness. Keep the volume close. You're getting a little agitated this morning, and you have 5 more days to go this week. Have I been agitated? I mean, this weekend has been a great weekend. We celebrated my daughter's birthday. We had my whole family was here in the house. Got next to zero sleep, like 2 hours of sleep before coming in here. So you might be sensing a little bit, maybe an extra cup of First Free in the Morning coffee that you can get at 127.coffee. So it's like a Christmas tree. Just not enough plugs. So we'll get a few more in here. Sorry, Sydney Sweeney, not blonde-haired, blue eyes. Brown hair. Not brown shirt, brown hair. But I played the clip from Good Night and Good Luck because, remember, when the American fascist left wanted you chasing around the communists. Now it's let's chase around the Nazis. Because anyone who supports Donald Trump has to be a fascist because he's trying to get the government to stop telling you what to do all the time. Somehow that's become a fascist thing. And I want to report to you that this past weekend was Rage Against the Regime weekend. I'm sorry. I want to apologize for those who count on our community calendar to tell you of these things. But apparently, if you didn't know, Saturday was another one of these 50-50 by one coordinated protests with the Democratic Party of your town. You weren't alone. Because smatterings of people, why in our flagship city of Stanton, Virginia, it seems like one, maybe two people showed up to hold their protest. So they marched along the city park and wrote slogans on the sidewalk so that the local newspaper reporter could take pictures of what I only see as one person writing slogans on the sidewalk. So photographic evidence can only prove to me that there was one person at the Rage Against the Regime rally in Stanton, Virginia. In Harrisonburg, they even got live music and only were able to get about 100 people. Looking around nationwide, why the very, very own social media account of 50-50 by one, is it 50-51? It sounds like a Van Halen album, 50-51. This 50 by 50 by 1. There are actual posts from members saying, what's the matter with you people? Where were you all on Saturday? Maybe, just maybe, there isn't that much rage against the regime. Maybe people are starting to realize maybe we're protesting the wrong group of people. What do you think?
Hey, I'm Brant, and her name is Sherry.
Hello.
She's a friend of mine whom we were just praying for because of a surgery she just went through.
Yes, and I am very happy about something you actually talk about all the time, which is
MediShare.
That is right.
Yeah. So what was your experience like with MediShare and the healthcare bills?
Honestly, Brant, seamless. And what a blessing that is when you're already nervous about a health issue, which I was.
Yeah.
Members shared my expenses. There were zero problems. And let me tell you, having people pray with you when you call in with your need, that is just...
It is refreshing.
Yes, that's what it is.
What I keep telling people love MediShare and they love saving money. A typical family can save $500 a month.
I am very thankful for MediShare. It is so different, and I mean different in a very, very good way.
It is good different. Call now. They're easy to talk to, and you can get a price within 2 minutes. Call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Bailey, President of the American Veterinary Medical Association. Artificial intelligence is everywhere, and now it's helping veterinarians deliver better care for pets. From AI-assisted radiographs that speed up diagnoses to tools that help spot diseases, AI supports veterinary teams in exciting ways. We're using AI to develop personalized cancer treatments, predict chronic conditions like feline kidney disease, and even streamline record keeping so veterinarians can focus more on patients. But as with any new technology, always keep a human in the loop to maintain the best pet health care. AI is a powerful tool, but not a replacement for your veterinarian's expertise, compassion, and judgment, which remains at the center of our profession. For more information on AI in veterinary medicine, visit avma.org.
And good Monday morning to you. It is August 4th, and it is 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:30 a.m. Hey, good morning to you, Auburn. Currently 59 degrees right now, looking for a high today of 86 degrees. All right, there's the sports ball music. Let's get right into it, starting in the MLB. Yesterday, Giants wrapped up a 3-game series with the Mets, and wrap it up they did. Woo, they scored big time. Here's what it sounded like. Casey Schmidt going yard, 3-run home run.
Back here in New York. Now a drive to left by Schmidt to the wall. Gone! Casey Schmidt. The exclamation point to this one. His 6th home run of the year. And it's 12-2 Giants.
12-2 Giants. Yeah, the Giants would end there 12. The final score is 12-4. Giants on top there, big time, wrapping up that series with the Mets. They'll play again today versus the Pirates. That's the start of a 3-game series. And that game will be at 3:40 this afternoon. So make sure you catch the Giants here on KAHI, 3:40 p.m. this afternoon. Giants versus the Pirates. Other scores around the MLB yesterday. Pirates versus the Rockies. Pirates win that one 9-5. D-backs versus the A's. Diamondbacks win that one 6-4. Angels fly away with a win over the White Sox 8-5. Cardinals versus the Padres. Padres on top there 7-3. Mariners versus the Rangers. Mariners win that one 5-4. And LA Dodgers versus the Tampa Bay Rays. Dodgers win that one. Okay, 3-0. Going to Formula One yesterday, the Hungarian Grand Prix. It was a McLaren 1-2 finish. Lando got the top step there, getting first place. His teammate Oscar Piastri came in second. George Russell completes the podium there with third place. Charles Leclerc, fourth place for Ferrari. Fernando Alonso, Gabriel Bartoletto, Lance Stroll, Liam Lawson, Max Verstappen, and Kimi Antonelli round out the top 10 there. We'll be back with your KAHI weather right after this.
Wounded Warrior Project helps post 9/11 veterans and their families realize what's possible. With support and resources that bring warriors together and empower them to become stronger, both inside and out.
It's possible to begin healing.
To get the help you need.
To find peace.
And as each warrior's needs evolve, so do we. Because these last 20 years are just the beginning. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
My Monday forecast is calling for dry weather, sunny weather, warm weather today. You'll be in the mid-80s, a southwest wind about 6 to 12 miles per hour. This area of high pressure will keep us dry overnight, mostly clear skies, around 58, 59 for the low. Tuesday and Wednesday with high pressure locked in, it looks like mostly sunny skies will continue. The high around 87 Tuesday and about 92 on Wednesday. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
The voice of the foothills is now the voice of the San Francisco Giants.
Now Wilmer Flores, 10th time in his career that he's had multiple home runs in the same game. High fly ball to left, hit deep, and out of here! He's done it again! What a night for Wilmer Flores. He's knocked in all of the Giants' runs.
Catch every Giants game right here on KAHI, AM and FM, brought to you in part by the Lincoln Potters baseball team.
33 minutes past the top of the hour, 6:33 a.m. Coming up in our next segment, we'll have your KAHI news. We'll have events for the calendar, also your California Ag Report. There's a lot coming up. Next hour, Daily Dad Jokes. You can send yours in now, live at KAHI.com or call me 530-885-3565. Back to JT in the morning. See you back here in just a little bit.
First thing today on the Talk Media Network by Joe Thomas, the second most famous Thomas in Charlottesville.
So the rage against the regime rally falls short. Is it schadenfreude on my part to point this out, or is it more important than that for you? So is it what Saul Alinsky warned about when he wrote his Better Call Saul primer on rules for radicals? That these things have to be fun. These things that you do to protest, the things you do to uproot and to bring on the revolution, have to be fun so that your people can enjoy continuing to do them. And it's possible that these just have stopped being fun. Standing around outside of a Tesla dealership has lost its sexiness, I guess, to the American left. Perhaps it has to do with the fact that Tesla dealers aren't really involved anymore. Mr. Tesla is on the outs with the regime. And wasn't it the height of racism to refer to President Obama's administration between 2009 and 2017 as the regime. That was inflammatory, I was told. We had sponsors called saying that guy in the afternoon that's on your station, that Limbaugh fella, calling he's a racist. He said that President Obama should fail. That's racism. Guy in the morning, Joe Thomas, said he didn't like the policies. That's racism. Can't oppose the first black president. That would be racist to do that. Only Nazis are racists. I know. We're just being facetious for the sake of, as Mel Brooks would do it, satirize it for your protection. But Saul Alinsky, in his Rules for Radicals, says your efforts must be fun for the people who are doing it. And the octogenarians that are showing up in the Rage Against the Regime rallies, the 55 and 60-year-old Caucasian women with the Black Lives Matter T-shirts on it. Not sure what that means, but they had other things to do this weekend. Eddie writes into 434-882-4217. He said, I attended a Rage Against the Regime rally once on November 5th, 2024, but we called it Election Day. Good on you, Eddie. Good line. Good line. But regime by any name. When the conservatives protested against mass confiscations of people's take-home pays and redistribution of that to people, and even at that point saying, but hold it, you're taking $1 from me and giving 25 cents to someone else. What's going on here? Even when we simply said we've been taxed enough already. Reminder, that's what T stood for in the Tea Party. Even when we just simply said, hold on, you've got trillions of dollars in Washington, why do you need more? When the flooding takes place through the New York metropolitan area, and because it's the New York metropolitan area, just like Los Angeles or Washington, D.C., the network headquarters, oh, my goodness, this is a crisis. Look at all the flooding that impacted our few reporters that remain in New York City. This must be climate change. Had nothing to do with the fact that it was actually reported by actual reporters in the New York metropolitan area that most of it was because the storm drains hadn't been cleared. Because it was easier to hire a six-figure DEI inspector for your county government than it is to hire somebody at high five-figure salaries to clear the storm drains. Could probably hire 2 people to clear the storm drains for every 1 DEI administrator in your county government. And, of course, those stories got immediately removed as they were happening. The floods all through my hometown of Bayside, Queens. Why, Eric Adams' home, well, he went to school there, was bussed in. But regardless, where Eric Adams went to high school was flooding. The city is screaming, it's underwater. My God, what are we going to do? And it was because the storm drains weren't cleared. And if you saw those stories, they immediately got replaced by the 11 p.m. news with stories about how climate change was impacting the New York metropolitan area, and this is why Lee Zeldin is particularly dangerous. But the 5 and 6 o'clock newscasts, when the reporters were live in the flooding, oh no, that was, well, the storm drains were not cleared thoroughly enough. Oops, someone didn't get the memo. Somebody had a random act of journalism actually happen. So when we push back against these policies that do nothing more than pay 6-figure salaries to people to administer it and wind up having a lower pass-through rate than even the Clinton Family Foundation. We did the math, what was it, 2 weeks ago now. If the U.S. government was a charity, its pass-through rate is about 25%, which means 25 cents out of every dollar they take from you, lest you go to Leavenworth, unlike any member of the Clinton administration, you might actually go to prison. Every dollar they take from you, lest you go to prison, only 25 cents gets used for all the high-minded purposes that they claim they're using it for, whether it be health care or climate or anything like that. Why? Because 75 cents out of each dollar stays to pay the bureaucrats that administer this stuff. Rage against the regime. Only in this upside-down Orwellian world could the guy who's actually reducing the size of government, who's reducing the amount of things the government tells you to do, be called the fascist. And maybe, just maybe, the turnout at the Rage Against the Regime rallies on Saturday are indicative of the fact that as the gas prices come down and grocery prices come down and the value of your dollar goes up, there are fewer and fewer people that think electing Donald Trump, as Eddie said, at the first Rage Against the Regime rally on November 5th, 2024, maybe, just maybe, electing Donald Trump wasn't such a bad idea after all. This time around, as he doesn't seem to be getting himself mired down. And if there is one difference between now and 2017 is the fact that by this point in 2017, they learned that in an effort to save face, in the effort to, to keep from looking bad in the press, the president could get mired in these minutia. He would spend days on end trying to defend whatever policy they decided to make the cause celeb of the week. And it would be day after day, and the administration would just get completely bogged down. And if there's a change between Trump 1 and Trump 2, it is this profound lack of concern for what the press is saying. That Rage Against the Regime rallies don't seem to mire the president into unending debates with the press as to whether they're righteous or not. He just keeps doing what he's doing. And damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. And each day, your dollar gets a little bit more valuable. Each day, the cost of things that you have to spend on is balancing out. Each day, more of your relatives are getting hired by some company. So, yes, maybe it's not fun to stand on a street corner out in front of a Tesla dealership violating Better Call Saul Alinsky's first rule of radicals. But I think, moreover, I think there are fewer people raging against this particular regime than there were before.
Hi, it's Mark Falter, host of the Financial Fitness Show. I strongly believe that no one should ever pay 1 penny more in taxes than they are legally obligated. Unfortunately, for most hardworking Americans, this just isn't the case. Why? Because most people spend more time planning next weekend's getaway than trying to ensure they're going to pay less in taxes. My financial fitness team has put together some materials that I know are going to help you. It's the Tax Savings Kit. Tax Savings Kit includes 3 things: free tax analysis, top 10 ways to pay less in taxes, and an investor's guide to taxes. Now, how do you get it? Simple. 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. I'm Mark Falter. This is Financial Fitness, making personal finance profitable.
And good Monday morning to you. It is August 4th, and it is 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 6:45 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Grass Valley. Currently 60 degrees right now, looking for a high today of 81 degrees. And speaking of Grass Valley, let's talk about the Nevada County Fair. That is going to be this week. It's August 6th through the 10th. Get ready for 5 days of excitement and fun. Plus, Planned for fairgoers, the Nevada County Fair is the perfect opportunity to enjoy musical entertainment, delicious foods, carnival rides, animals, and exhibits in a community-friendly environment at an affordable family price. Name the most beautiful fairgrounds on the West Coast, and that is absolutely true. If you have not been to the Nevada County Fairgrounds, absolutely gorgeous, fantastic in the trees there. The Nevada County Fairgrounds is known for its tall pine trees, on-site pond, and unique food vendors. Yeah, treat yourself on Treat Street. If you've not been to Treat Street, oh my gosh, it is absolutely amazing. Food for days. Get your pick from all different sorts of food, like Nevada City Chamber of Commerce burgers and root beer float booth on Treat Street. That's just an example of delicious fair food that's going to be there. Oh, go see the animals. Go see the horses in the horse arena there. You can go and see all different vendors and crafts, hear live music and more. What's the location? Well, the Nevada County Fairgrounds. That's at 11228 McCourtney Road there in Grass Valley. If you want to give them a call, you can call them 530-273-6217. But if you want more information, ticket prices as well, you can go to NevadaCountyFair.com. That's NevadaCountyFair.com. Hours for the fair are going to be Wednesday through Sunday from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. The exhibit buildings will be open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday until 9 p.m. And Carnival is open from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. So, yep, you've got the rides, you've got the exhibit buildings, you've got the whole fair there from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. Absolutely gorgeous up there at the Nevada County Fairgrounds. Again, that is going to be August 6th through the 10th this week. And you can find out more at NevadaCountyFair.com. We'll be back with your KAHI News right after this.
I'm Frederick Penny, host of Radio Law Talk, the most exciting, entertaining, and sometimes informative radio show on earth. Listen to us live on KAHI, the voice of the foothills, every Saturday morning, 9 to noon, here on FM 104.5 and AM 950. You can also find us on KAHI.com and the KAHI app. Remember, that's Radio Law Talk, live 9 to noon every Saturday, right here on KAHI, AM and FM, the voice of the foothills.
And here's your KAHI News for Monday, August 4th. I'm Chris Quant. Police officer in Placer County arrested after domestic incident. This is from Fox 40 News. An officer with the Auburn Police Department in Placer County was arrested after an investigation into a, quote, domestic incident, unquote. According to APD, the officer was taken into custody by members of the Lincoln Police Department. The arrest stemmed from a domestic incident that was reported in July. Quote, given the nature of the reported incident, we are treating this with the utmost regard, unquote, said APD Chief of Police Brian Morrison. Quote, we understand the community expects transparency from its police department and law enforcement officers. To promote that, we are ensuring that a thorough and impartial internal investigation occurs, unquote. The officer has been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation, according to APD. The circumstances behind the incident are unclear. However, APD said the officer could be a victim or suspect, so the identity has not been disclosed. Community policing shines as NorCal officers help overwhelmed widow with flat tire. This is also from Fox 40 News. A day was made better for a grieving woman who was going through a hard time thanks to the help of a Northern California law enforcement agency. After completing a recent call for service at a local shopping center, the Citrus Heights Police Department officer observed a woman nearby who appeared to be distressed because of a flat tire. Together, they changed the woman's tire, ensured her tools and spare were properly secured, and provided reassurance throughout the process. According to CHPD, the woman expressed her gratitude and shared that she was recently widowed. She told them she had been feeling overwhelmed and that their assistance provided her with not only immediate help, but also with a sense of compassion and care during a difficult time. Police said that after the woman promised to stay off the highway while using the spare donut tire and to get her vehicle over to a tire shop as soon as she could, she embraced them and took a photo. Quote, these moments may not make the headlines, but they're a big part of what community policing is all about. Kindness, service, and a willingness to help when someone needs it the most, unquote, CHPD said. Quote, we're glad she's back on the road safely. Back with more news after this.
Only 1 in 5 people with disabilities, including those with autism, are employed, despite many having the skill set and desire to work.
Maybe it's because employers don't know what kind of jobs they can do?
Okay, try me.
What about a programmer?
That is a job for someone with autism.
What about a teacher?
That is a job for someone with autism.
Oh, how about a healthcare worker?
Yes, those are all jobs for someone with autism. The truth is, qualified people with autism can do a lot of different jobs, but often get overlooked due to outdated stigmas and beliefs. Businesses value diversity, but sometimes don't recognize the unique strengths and abilities of the autism community. Introducing WIN, the Workplace Inclusion Now program by Autism Speaks. We help businesses lead the way in inclusive hiring.
Ooh, what about a ranch hand?
Yeah! Sure, that's a job for someone with autism too. To learn more, go to autismspeaks.org/win. That's autismspeaks.org/win.
And the Sundance final scene sets the hills.
I love California. I love the mountains. I love the sunsets. I love the foothills. Oh, speaking of which, join me every Saturday at 8 p.m. for Rewind, featuring the stars you grew up with. Oh, by the way, my name is Jimmy J. We've been doing this for a long time. If you haven't heard the show yet, check it out. This Saturday, 8 p.m., Rewind on the Voice of the Foothills, AM 950, KAHI.
Continuing now with your KAHI News from the Morning Brew, taking a look at the week ahead. Back to class. Get your lunch packed up and your boots tied tight. It's time to go back to school or start shopping for supplies, at least, depending on where you live. According to the National Retail Federation, parents expect to spend an average of $144 on supplies this school year. That doesn't even count new sneakers or electronics. Several states are conducting tax-free holidays to help defray costs. Some big shows are back. Grab an Alamo beer and kick back. All 10 episodes of the new King of the Hill reboot hit Hulu today. Then Addams Family spin-off Wednesday dances back onto Netflix this Wednesday, of course. And the Freaky Friday sequel lands in theaters on Friday, also, of course. This week marks 80 years since the U.S. dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Consumer credit data will be released on Thursday, and Friday is President Trump's deadline for Russia to end the war in Ukraine. And from the Morning Brew, here's what else is brewing. Hamas released footage of emaciated Israeli hostage Evitar David on Saturday, which drew widespread international criticism. Hamas said on Sunday it would work with the Red Cross to deliver aid to Israeli hostages in Gaza if its conditions were met. Also on Sunday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he was seeking a, quote, military solution, unquote, to free the remaining hostages. OPEC Plus agreed to raise oil output in September by 547,000 barrels per day. Delta Airlines told U.S. senators it would not use AI to personalize ticket prices. And Lonnie Anderson, who played receptionist Jennifer Marlowe on WKRP in Cincinnati, died at age 79. And finally, also from the Morning Brew, today's word of the day is quorum, meaning the minimum number of members of a body required to be present at a meeting. Quorum. And that's your KAHI News for this Monday, August 4th. I'm Chris Quant. On now to the California Ag Report.
It's time for California Ag Today on the Ag Information Network. I am Haley Shipp. Just out from the office of U.S. Senator Adam Schiff at the end of last week, some strong words for the USDA about a move that's not sitting well with folks in California agriculture. In a Senate Agriculture Committee hearing, Schiff questioned why the USDA's new plan to relocate staff around the country doesn't include a single hub in California. He pointed out that the nearest new office is in Salt Lake City, over 500 miles from the Central Valley, and asked why the top ag-producing state in the nation was left out. According to Schiff's office, this isn't the first time California has been passed over. He pointed to canceled conservation grants, disaster aid that's been tough to access, and even the planned closure of an Agriculture Research Service office in the state. USDA Deputy Secretary Stephen Vaden said the decision came down to cost of living and that more disaster aid could still be coming. But Schiff made it clear California farmers deserve more than promises. They deserve real access to resources and support. Absolutely a high-tension, ongoing story here. For more on Schiff's reaction as well as more on that Senate hearing, you can head on over to our website, aginfo.net. Attention all growers, have your packouts been reduced due to damage caused by heat stress or sunburn? This is Cultiva. We are the manufacturer of Parka. Parka is a plant-based foliar product with a unique MOA that helps plants resist and recover from heat stress. Parka reduces heat stress and sunburn by reducing the development of oxidative compounds and stressed crops. It allows the plant to continue photosynthetic activity, which ultimately means your crops continue to perform during times of excessive heat. As a result, plants treated with Parka are better equipped to sustain growth under environmental stress conditions to deliver high fruit quality and marketable yields. Unlike other products on the market, Parka is highly tank mix compatible and leaves no residue on fruit or equipment, making it easy to incorporate into spray programs. The heat is coming. Is your crop ready to handle the stress? Give us a call at 888-638-1955 or visit Cultiva.com. This is California Ag Today on the Ag Information Network. I am Haley Ship. For more ag news, check us out online at aginfo.net.
Catch Sinatra and Friends, Saturdays and Sundays, right here on 104.5 FM and AM 950 KAHI. Join Frank and his friends, Sammy, Dean, Tony Bennett, and more, performing songs from the Great American Songbook. Sinatra and Friends Weekends, brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings on Folsom Boulevard in Rancho Cordova. Right here on the Voice of the Foothills, 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
Looking for style, savings, and something for everyone? Come to Auburn's department store, McCullough's. From fashion to furniture, beauty to bedding. Find it all under one roof with plenty of parking. And right now, save up to 50% store-wide during McCullough's summer kickoff sale. Family owned and operated. So save time, gas, and money by shopping McCullough's department store in the Auburn Town Center, right off of Elm.
Placer Farm Supply is celebrating 75 years serving our community. It was wonderful to see everyone who came to our Customer Appreciation Day. For those of you that could not attend, we are still running specials on diamond lemon rice and alfalfa hay. We are welcoming spring with our new garden center, including flowers, herbs, vegetables, soil, and adorable pots. Stock up on your supplies for your flock and pick up some baby chicks. They are sure to go fast with all the demand, so come down soon. Supply is limited. Placer Farm Supply for all your farming and ranching needs.
Listen to the Garden Goddesses Saturday morning at 8 a.m. here on the Voice of the Foothills.
If you want to be kept in the plant know, join us on our radio show. The Garden Goddesses, Saturday mornings from 8 to 9 a.m. on the one and only KAHI Radio, AM 950, FM 104.5, the Voice of the Foothills. Call in to win a prize from Green Acres Nursery and Supply.
Hey there, KAHI listeners. Producer Adam here to remind you to listen to Chris in the morning, Monday through Fridays, starting at 6 a.m. My goodness, that's still early. Get all the local news, weather, traffic, and local events you can handle, plus a healthy dose of daily dad jokes. Chris in the morning, 6 to 9 a.m. here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the Voice of the Foothills. I never miss it, and neither should you. Now, where did I put that breakfast burrito?
FM 104.5, K283CM, Auburn, and AM 950, KAHI, Auburn.
Wake up, it's Chris in the morning light. On KAHI, a day starts right. Foothill news and a smile or two, with a dad joke fresh and the weather too. He's the voice of the hills, keeping it real. Hey. Local talk with hometown feel. So grab your coffee.
How about an
don't
espresso today,
hit
producer
snooze.
Adam?
It's Chris in the morning with your daily news.
And good Monday morning to you. It is August 4th, and it is right smack dab at the top of the hour. It is 7 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI. You know what it is. It is the voice of the foothills. Chris Quant here with you, holding it down. Beautiful, gorgeous, fantastic. All the adjectives. Studio A, KAHI Studios, downtown Auburn, peering through the Venetian blinds. What looks like to be another fantastic day. The breeze is blowing out there. I think the temperatures will be a little bit cooler today than normally they are during August. We'll check in with meteorologist Tim Root here in just a little bit to see what the weather's looking like from the official weather forecast there. Joining me in studio, per usual, producer Shane. Shane, good morning. How are you?
Doing good, Chris.
Good. Have a good weekend this weekend?
Yeah.
Anything big happened? Any major family events? Any barbecue cookouts? Anything like that?
I wish it was barbecue.
No. Are you a barbecue guy? Do you barbecue at all?
I do.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have pardon us, everybody, while we have some dad talk here for a minute. Do you do the gas grill, the charcoal grill?
I've got a gas grill.
You got a gas grill. Okay,
Yeah.
my wife surprised me. This is years back, but got the ones where it was half of it is propane and then the other half is charcoal.
Nice.
So I can do both. Now, what she didn't get, there was a optional smoker box that you could attach to the side of it. So it attached on the side that had the charcoal, so you could have it just flow right in. She got the barbecue on sale, and later when we went to buy this smoker box for it, we found out why the barbecue was on sale, because they were discontinuing it. So when we went back to try and find the attachable smoker box, it was nowhere to be found. So I was a little bummed. I couldn't turn it into a smoker, but it's got the little vents there, and you can kind of do I guess you can kind of do it on the charcoal side of it. But I got to say, between having the charcoal side and the propane side, I go to the propane side more than I do the charcoal side. Although I do love a good charcoal barbecue, but it's just so much quicker and easier to do the propane side. Also, very thankful having a propane barbecue, and it's got the little side burner as well. Does yours have a side burner on it?
Mine's very basic.
Mine has a side burner on it. Very grateful that, because where we live now, the first couple of years that we were there had snow, and the power went out for a little while. And so having all electric appliances in the house, having a propane burner out in the barbecue, it turns out it was quite nice for, I don't know, heating up soup and water and other things that we needed when you don't have electricity in your house and all of your stuff is electrical appliances. So do you have any special things any meats that you barbecue, or is it just the hamburger?
I do a lot
chicken?
of tri-tip and steaks.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So barbecue at Shane's house then.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
I've learned how to. It's taken a while to kind of get the rhythm with it, but I've kind of figured it out. For me, I have a very simple barbecue.
Yeah.
So there's just two burner sides. So I usually will light one side, put the tri-tip on the cold side.
Yeah.
So that way the fat doesn't drip on and then flame up.
Yep.
I also
Smart.
I also bought a really nifty Wi-Fi enabled meat thermometer.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Do you have the thermometer? Because I've learned that's very important.
I learned that a couple years ago. I got a book called The 4-Hour Chef by Tim Ferriss. It taught me a lot about cooking that I didn't know before, including the importance of thermometers.
Yeah.
And so I learned how to do steaks in the oven, which is delicious as well. And so I do that in the wintertime, but not in the summer, because I don't want to heat the house. And leaving a thermometer in the oven with it, so that way I learn take out precise moments. So when I was doing barbecue, I'm like, I'd have to go out there and check it every few minutes.
Yeah.
And last year I got some birthday money. I'm like, I'm buying a thermometer.
Such a dad present there. Wi-Fi enabled thermometer for meat thermometer for your meat, but fantastic. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny though. Like one time, my wife apparently turned it on. I'm at somewhere else, like maybe here at the radio station or something. Suddenly the thermometer says, your meat will be ready in 20 minutes. I'm like, well, I'm not home. Somebody's cooking with it.
You're like, ooh, there's some dinner when we get home. That is fantastic. Yeah, we learned the importance of thermometer. My wife is like, how about you get a thermometer in there and actually checking what the meat temperature is? And it's like, yeah, it's actually probably a good idea. If I'm doing just more than hamburgers, so it's pretty easy enough to spot there. But yeah, it turns out it's really nice to have that. And then everything, you go online. I'm like, okay, how, if I have a steak, tri-tip, whatever, like, what's the internal temperature? What's all that supposed to be? It's so much resources online.
Yeah.
now.
I ended up a couple years ago also buying a refrigerator magnet. It's got all the different temperatures and things and stuck it there. So
nice.
I look at it occasionally, or try mostly for the meats that I don't do every day.
That's the thing right there. Yeah. When you don't do it all the time, you have to have the reminder of like, where's it at? What is the temperature? Does your barbecue? My barbecue has a thermometer on the outside, so I can kind of see what the temperature is internally.
Mine does not.
Okay, yeah.
But the thermometer I got, this little probe these stick in, it's actually really
Yeah.
cool. There's 6 thermometers, or 6 different temperature probes inside of it.
Oh my gosh.
So it's watching 5 different spots inside the meat, plus 1, which is the air temperature in the barbecue.
Good Lord.
Oh, it's nifty.
All right, you and I are going to have to talk a little bit later. I think I'm going to have to get a link to that thermometer because now it's just blowing whatever I've got out of the water. That is absolutely fantastic. Well, thanks for sticking with our dad talk here for a little bit as we're talking meat thermometers and all of that good stuff. Speaking of maybe foodie type things, on this day in 1693 is traditionally ascribed to Dom Perignon invention of champagne. So cheers, everybody. To that and on to here, right? And on this day in 1977, the United States Department of Energy was formed. So if you didn't know, now you know. There's some random trivia for you to take along with you today. And today is also, for those that celebrate, and count me among those, is Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. So happy Chocolate Chip Cookie Day to you. Now, when I was in high school, my friend Danae, she was 1 grade lower than me, but we had a lot of classes together. And her and her mom, they would always make chocolate chip cookies. They would have chocolate chip cookies, and they would make enough that they were in the freezer, and they'd store them, and they could always just bust them out and reheat them.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I would go and hang out at their house, they knew apparently they knew my love for chocolate chip cookies and their chocolate chip cookies. So her and her mom would always make sure that there were plenty of chocolate chip cookies whenever I came over to their house. So it just became like this running thing, this running gag. I graduated a year ahead of her. Like I said, she was a year behind me. And so for the year, it was her senior year, she came and she showed up. I was working at a bank at that time and going to school at Sierra College. And she showed up at my work, and she had made, I guess it was like a Sadie's Hawkins or something like that. There was this dance at our old high school. She showed up at my work, and she had baked this giant chocolate chip cookie and asked me to go to the dance with her. And so I was like, oh my gosh, you are speaking my love language, girl. Yeah. It's like, so it was like this giant homemade chocolate chip cookie. And she asked me to go to the dance. And it was super fun. We went, we had a really great time. And yes, I did eat the entire chocolate chip cookie. It was absolutely fantastic. Nice. So for those that celebrate, happy chocolate chip cookie day to you. Did you ever do the Mrs. Fields cookies in the mall at all?
Rarely,
I think we did that once.
or twice.
God, those things are doughy, man. Those things are like, that's the precursor to what's the cookie company now?
Crumble.
Crumble, yeah. Oh my gosh, those things are deadly.
They are.
Oh, if you've not had a Crumble cookie, for those that don't know, if you're here in Auburn, there's one on Highway 49, kind of out there by Home Depot, out over there. Crumble cookies they're giant, one. So basically, like, cut them in half, cut them in fourths, cut them in I mean, you'll make yourself sick eating an entire cookie. They're very sweet. They're very thick. They're very dense. But they come out with new flavors every week.
Yeah.
We should probably look up and see, maybe look up there and see what flavors they have this week. We actually had one of our friend's daughters works at Crumble, and so we would go over there. We had she's always bringing home Crumble cookies, but yeah, there's different flavors every week. So I like a strawberry cheesecake or a chocolate decadent or whatever. They're really good, but if you get some, plan on sharing them and splitting them with friends, because these Crumble cookies are not to be taken lightly. Also, if Crumble Cookie wants to sponsor the show or advertise here at KAHI, feel free to do that, as we're giving you plenty of free advertisement here. Today is also Single Working Women's Day, so Single Working Women's Day to you. If you're curious, now you know. Were you able to find any flavors here of what are for this week?
So it didn't specifically say this week, but I did see.
They're just off the wall, crazy crazy flavors.
Freakier Friday key lime pie blackberry cake.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Freaky Friday's coming out this Friday. That's pretty smart.
Yeah, milk chocolate chip cookie, vanilla bean strawberry cake.
Oh, okay.
Chocolate covered banana cookie.
Oh my gosh.
Cinnamon scone cookie.
Okay. Oh, they're just so sweet. It'll give you a cavity.
Mallow sandwich cookie featuring Oreo.
Okay. Oh my god.
And Biscoff lava cookie.
All right. Well, there's your flavors of the week there for Crumble Cookie. That is absolutely fantastic. So, hey, speaking of things of the week, we have things of the day, the SOTD, the shirt of the day. If you want to tune in and check out what's going on beautiful Studio A here, you can go to youtube.com/@, that's the @ symbol, KAHI-radio. I decided to join in with producer Shane today with a shirt of the day. I've got, well, you're wearing the red and orange with the ukuleles on there, shirt there with the palm leaves. I went with the pink cactus, I don't know, kind of same button-up shirt type thing. So I decided to join in that. This actually, I wore this to my nephew's wedding yesterday.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, it was really fun. It was down off of Sierra College Boulevard, so we had to go a little bit down the hill there. Well, it turns out we were running a little bit late. Got out of the house a little bit late. Hit a little bit of traffic. All the people returning back from Tahoe coming down 80. Hit a little bit of traffic. Turns out we got there just a little bit after the start time. So start time was 3:30 yesterday afternoon. We were rolling up at about 3:37.
You're probably fine.
Well, that's what I thought. No. So
Really?
It turns out the wedding party was already, because you enter into the lobby there of the church, and then it's kind of the main aisle there. The wedding party, the groomsmen and the bridesmaid had already started making their way down the aisle.
Oh.
And the bride and her father were right at the end there. So we kind of snuck around at the end. We don't really make a real subtle entrance with the four of us, plus carrying a guide dog in tow. So we kind of are all just kind of blazing in. Well, I didn't think about it. None of us thought about it because we were running late. We just said, there's a guy that kind of greeted us at the door, said, here's the thing. There's the gift thing over there. And we peeled off to the right when we should have, like Zoolander, I should have turned left. So we peeled off to the right, go through the doors. Gorgeous, sanctuary that we were in there, main room that we were in there. Absolutely beautiful, brand new building where we're at. And turns out I sit down and we all get settled there. The bride hasn't made it down yet, so we're there in time for that. And I look around and I'm sitting and I'm like, I don't recognize any of the people around me. It's my nephew who's getting married. I look over to the other side. We should have gone left. We were sitting on the bride's side. We're like, I guess it doesn't really matter. Whatever. We're all here. We're experiencing the wedding. Yeah, but I look over on the left-hand side. That's where all our family was. So, all right. Apparently, I don't know. Is it a thing? Is it a thing where groom is on the left and bride is on the right? Is that traditional?
My understanding is basically where they stand. Like, so from the audience looking at them, the groom's on the right, and so I always thought the groom family would be on the right.
Yeah,
like
yeah. And he was on the right. Yeah, like that's how it was. But apparently on this side, the bride was on the right and groom was on the left. So hindsight, we should have gone left. But either way, we were there. We experienced the wedding. The reception was great. It was beautiful. They had a game where on the back of they had a menu, and then on the back they had like a true false about the bride and groom, which was really fun. Like you could fill in like a Scantron, the little bubbles, to see which ones were the right answers. So that was absolutely a whole ton of fun. So
thanks.
So we had a good time there at the wedding this weekend. Hey, by the way, if today is your birthday, happy stinking birthday to you. Hope you have a fantastic day today. If you're born on today, well, you share a birthday with Pope Urban VII. Yeah, that Pope Urban VII. Born on this day in 1521. Louis Vuitton, the French fashion designer, founded Louis Vuitton he was born on this day in 1821, all the way back there. Queen Elizabeth, Queen Mother of the United Kingdom, born on this day in 1900. Other birthdays, Billy Bob Thornton, coming a little bit closer to modern day. Billy Bob Thornton, born on this day in 1955. He's doing T-Mobile commercials now. I'm like, where is Billy Bob Thornton's doing T-Mobile commercials. Okay. Let's see, Barack Obama. Yeah, that Barack Obama, born on this day in 1961. Roger Clemens, American baseball player, born on this day in 1962. Jeff Gordon, American race car driver, drove the DuPont car there. NASCAR, born on this day in 1971. I had a lot of people when I was in my 20s that he's, you look a lot like Jeff Gordon. I was like, oh, okay, I'll take that. I'll stunt double in his car if anybody needs me to drive it, but nobody took me up on that. Another race car driver, Kurt Busch, born on this day in 1978. Now, I like this one. Meghan Markle, born on this day in 1981. They have her as just listed as an American actress. I think she's got like a duchess title or something now.
That.
Born into or not born in, but marry into the royal family there. She's got more than just the American actress title now. And it's those are the birthdays today. So if it's your birthday, happy stinking birthday to you. Hope you have a fantastic day today. And speaking of our day, we need to find out what the weather is looking like. For that, we're going to turn it over to meteorologist Tim Root. Timmy, how are we looking out there today?
My Monday forecast is calling for dry weather, sunny weather, warm weather today. It'll be in the mid-80s, a southwest wind about 6 to 12 miles per hour. This area of high pressure will keep us dry overnight, mostly clear skies, around 58, 59 for the low. Tuesday and Wednesday with high pressure locked in, it looks like mostly sunny skies will continue. The high around 87 Tuesday and about 92 on Wednesday. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
16 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:16 a.m. Producer Shane and I just decided on we're doing grilling themed dad jokes today. So if you got one like those, you can, or not related to that at all, you can send them in live at KAHI.com, LIVE at KAHI.com. When we come back, Producer Shane, I don't know if you've heard of this AI thing. Turns out if you work in AI, if you're a AI scientist, you're making quite a bit of money. And in here in the Morning Brew, they're comparing it to Oppenheimer's. Yeah, the Oppenheimer, the guy that was working on the atomic bomb there. What some salaries are compared to what his salary is. Also, we've got a story here. Is showing up to the airport early an $83 billion drain on the economy. Some folks are being told to show up 2 to 3 hours early to the airport. And how is that draining the economy? That early to the airport?
Yeah, I've been hearing it too.
That's
ambitious. It used to be just
like an
hour for domestic, then they say international 2 hours. Now they're telling us 2 hours for domestic,
2.5
for international.
Yeah, 3 for international. That's exactly it. And is that draining $83 billion on the economy? How is that working? Stay tuned. We'll talk all about that here right after this.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
Tune in to the KAHI Corral every Saturday at 7 a.m. here on the Voice of the Foothills.
I did a petting zoo on the top floor of a skyscraper.
No. Wait.
They had the windows open because it's an old building. They don't have any air conditioning.
I'm still creeped out because I think animals fell out the windows, but they didn't.
Well, Reno did. He was on the windowsill with his head out the window.
Did he come when you
Walked
called
over
him?
very slowly, grabbed him, and pulled him back in and closed.
Connie and the gang, and you'll never know what you're gonna find. Everything from pets in the studio, oh yeah, that's a real thing, to the advice you've come to count on. So join Connie and a cast of thousands on the KAHI Corral Saturday mornings at 7 a.m. here on 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com. 19 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:19 a.m. All right, before we took that little break there, we went to talk about basically the AI salary. If you're an AI right now, apparently that's really, really good money. If you're, and here's what I'm thinking, Shane, is like, how would people even know? I mean, studying AI, or even like, you would have to be way ahead of the curve in order to be considered a subject matter expert or whatever they are now.
And there was a lot of people getting into it 7, 8, 10 years ago that I know.
Yeah.
It's just really with a generative AI like ChatGPT, that's caused the explosion in the zeitgeist. And
Well, and I've got to imagine too, like, I guess we just had the first college students now that have been graduating that have been basically using AI their entire college career, right? So I guess that makes sense that if you're starting to use it, it's probably something that if you're in the academic world, is probably something that they've been studying. Well, Mark Zuckerberg recently offered 24-year-old Matt, I'm sorry if I'm going to get your last name wrong here, Matt Dietke, $250 million over 4 years to come work at Meta's Superintelligence Lab. What is on your resume for $250 million over 4 years? That's impressive.
Yeah, we got to work at Facebook. That's part of it.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I was like, hey, is there a signing bonus there as well? And he accepted the job, by the way. Let's see. ARS Technica compared that to J. Robert Oppenheimer's $10,000 annual salary in 1943 for leading the Manhattan Project. Adjusted for inflation would be $190,865 today. So basically, this kid, I feel like he's a kid, 24 years old as a kid. Basically, his salary is 327 times what Oppenheimer's salary was for leading the whole Manhattan Project. Basically, AI recruits for the biggest tech companies have few peers when it comes to paychecks. The closest comparison may be sports stars, which sounds about right when it comes to that. The closest, let's see, in 2021, the NBA legend Steph Curry finalized a 4-year, $215 million contract extension. Okay, so what did this guy get at Facebook? $250 million.
Yeah.
Steph Curry's at $215. Okay, wow, that's some bragging rights there. All right, and basically saying like, how did we get there? This is all from the Morning Brew, by the way. The likes of Meta, Microsoft, and Alphabet have huge market caps, and as the New York Times observed, no salary caps. Yeah, I don't know how they would regulate that, at least now. I mean, maybe they would, but these tech companies, if they've got the cash to throw that way,
they do. And a lot of it is going to be likely in the form of options or something like that. So
that's a good point. Yeah.
So that it says, it's 250, but it's based on the date of hire, certain strike prices and all this other stuff. A true cash salary that he gets.
Yeah.
Still probably
still not
very
bad.
Healthy, but
he's probably buying a new car. I'm probably sure that's
it might
true.
even be
you're
as
right.
high as $1 million a year is cash, but a lot of that's likely options.
That's a good point, true. Because when I started with my company, it was you had stock options, but you had to vest over 4 years.
Correct.
Like you didn't get your full option, and even then, you weren't even guaranteed something unless certain like the company goes public. Or obviously Facebook is already public. But yeah, you're right. That's a good point. So there's probably a lot tying up there that.
Well, yeah,
an incentive to keep them there.
Yeah, and it probably is like they say his salary is over 4 years. It probably is an option tie. Lock in.
That is a good point. Yeah,
and that is not their money. That's the other thing. Is a lot of people. It sounds like he's getting $250 million, but he's not. He's not getting that as cash likely because maybe they're paying $1 million a year. Still very healthy salary, but
not bad.
I wish I made that. But he would not be. That lets the economy, or not the economy, the stock market kind of pay his salary, quote unquote, without Facebook having to fork out the cash.
Interesting. That is a good point. Yeah, there's probably a lot of other things inside of that deal. The good point. Like as long as you stay here, and like you got to think in 4 years, where is AI going to be in that amount of time as well? Like, good gracious sakes alive. So not a bad shake for this guy. $250 million over 4 years with Meta. But you're right. That's probably options. There's other factors that are involved in that. If he stays, strike price, man, that's a good point. Strike prices, all of that good stuff. One thing I like the Morning Brew's take on it. I like how they write, but there are some things Oppenheimer got in this compensation package that just can't, like this guy's compensation package just can't promise. Like Infamy, a Pulitzer Prize winning biography, and a Christopher Nolan biopic. So, Oppenheimer got a few more things. We don't know if this kid will get, but $250 million over 4 years, and who knows what's all tied up in that to work for Meta to do the AI thing. Also, another thing that we were talking about here is basically showing up. Now they're saying if you've done any sort of travel lately, and traveling a lot over the years for my job. I don't know. I try I only fly domestically. I've never really gone internationally for my job. So it's like I don't know, you have to travel time to the airport, finding a parking space, getting into the terminal, going through security, finding your gate, blah, 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 blah. There's some times where there is a bit of a joke of like, man, if I would have drove there from like doorstep to doorstep, I feel like it would have taken maybe slightly longer just to drive than it would just for this convenience of an airplane. But it turns out is us getting there. Now they're saying get there 2.5 to 3 hours early, 2.5 hours early for international flights, 3 hours early, or 2.5 hours for domestic, 3.5 hours early for international flights. And what is all this doing? It's costing maybe up to $83 billion. Well, this is from an article here. I'll find out what this is from. But basically, they're saying, what are we trading off here? In 2024, U.S. airlines carried around 862.8 million passengers on domestic flights across the United States. So let's say airline passengers skew in higher income. So let's conservatively assume that there's $100,000 a year average income. That's about $48.08 an hourly wage. Taking an extra 2 hours per passenger on average, that's dollars, costs the economy just for the extra time wasted for domestic passengers.
I don't know if I fully agree with it, but I do like the sentiment because I do think it's a lot of wasted time.
Yeah, you think, and it was like, okay, well, you're away from work. Yeah, you've got to travel. You've got to get to the airport. I mean, some of that is if you're on vacation, you're not working. I guess they're saying like if you're business travelers, obviously that's a case there. And that's only for the extra cost of time wasted on departure. It doesn't count for delays on arrival. Airlines forcing passengers to gate check bags, which sends them to baggage claim. Poor process for baggage claim that can delay bags for 45 minutes or longer. Buses to rideshare or rental car lots. Yeah, there's some lots that I've been to where to find the ride share, because I'll usually do like Uber or Lyft or something like that. It's not near which I get, like the taxi companies are probably like, yeah, we were here first. Mm-hmm. You rideshare people, you're gonna have to hike over to where that is. I remember one airport, I had to like hike across a parking lot and then get on a shuttle to then shuttle through like 3 parking lots before we got to the rideshare. Yeah. I can't remember what airport that was in. But it took a hot minute to get there. So basically, they're asking, why do we simply accept showing up 3 hours before a flight and taking an hour to get out of the airport, turning a 2-hour trip into 6 hours without considering the time that it takes to get to and from the airport? Mm-hmm. So that's absolutely true. Like I remember being in Boise, Idaho. It was a 90-minute direct flight from Boise to Sacramento. Somehow I got booked on, I got booked on a connecting flight to Seattle and then Seattle down to Sacramento. So from the time I got there to the airport, to get there on time, to wait, to then get on the plane, to fly to Seattle, wait for my flight got delayed at Seattle twice. Of course it did. So what could have been a 90-minute flight was literally 6 hours. Yeah. From Idaho, from Boise to Sacramento. And I was like, by the end of the flight, I was like, are you kidding me right now?
Drive it.
I was going to say, I could probably almost drive it in that amount of time and get here maybe just an hour behind that without sitting in airports and waiting. And I remember at Seattle, like, go to this gate. Now go to that gate. Nope, everybody go back to this gate now and we'll get on there. And I was like, oh my gosh. Literally the gate next to me when I left Boise was going to Sacramento direct flight. So next time I'm keeping an eye to see if I can switch my flight on the direct flight if I ever do that.
That's why when I think about airline travel, it's a day.
100%,
it doesn't matter. Yeah. When I go to Las Vegas, it's only an hour flight. It's still a day.
It's going to be a day. Just, you're absolutely right. Getting out the door, getting to the airport, getting everybody checked in. Another thing that they say too is that the airports now have become like shopping malls. Mm-hmm. And what I didn't realize is, according to this article, is basically like the airlines actually have a vested interest in that because there's some sort of revenue share, whether it's like getting
doesn't surprise me though.
Yeah, getting the airlines there, getting more airlines to show up at your airport. This is from an article from View from the Wing, by the way, a thought leader in travel. So if you want to look that up, you can. It's called View from the Wing, is what we're looking at that article at. But yeah, I did not know that which always, and I know so many comedians have made the joke about, wait, why why are you selling luggage in an airport? Like, haven't I already thought of that by the time? I'm not just showing up with like an armful of clothes and like, I'll just buy my actual luggage at the airport. But yeah, that's always amazes me that there's the luggage stores at the airport. I don't know. I guess maybe if you need an extra bag to carry all your souvenirs
after you see
home.
what the airlines do to your bags, you kind of do need it.
That's true. Yeah, if yours makes it in one piece, hopefully it'll be there.
This last trip, mine was finally had to be thrown away afterwards.
Did it really? It took enough. Yeah. Well, that's where we're at. Like our son's trip to Japan. We got some new luggage there just to make sure that he's got all the things. Like there's no surprises, hopefully, as he's flying over internationally. 30 minutes past the top of the hour, 7:30 a.m. We're going to take a small break here while we get some dad jokes lined up. We'll be back with more right after this.
Catch Sinatra and Friends, Saturdays and Sundays, right here on 104.5 FM and AM 950 KAHI. Join Frank and his friends, Sammy, Dean, Tony Bennett, and more, performing songs from the Great American Songbook. Sinatra and Friends Weekends, brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings on Folsom Boulevard in Rancho Cordova. Right here on the Voice of the Foothills, 104.5 FM, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com.
Victory Village serves those who have served our country, offering help for veterans, their families, and those currently serving. For more than 10 years, nonprofit Victory Village has served all of the Sierra Foothill counties. Visit our office in Jackson or Auburn for financial assistance, help with housing, and wraparound services to aid the transition to civilian life. If you need help, to volunteer, or to learn more, visit vvvets.org.
All right, it is that time. It is time for your daily dad jokes. Make you laugh, sigh, I don't know, roll your eyes. We'll see what we got here. I was trying to look for something here. Turns out we just ended up talking this whole time. Producer Shane, I think you've got a couple of grilling jokes. We've been talking about barbecues here.
Yeah, so I got a couple.
Some grill jokes. First off, let's go to the inbox. Ray sent one in. Ray, thanks for sending in this one. All right, here we go, Producer Shane. What's the difference between a dad and a grill?
I don't know. What is the difference between a dad and a grill?
A grill runs out of gas. Solid one, Ray. That is fantastic. That's funny. Thanks for sending that one in. I love it. Producer Shane, you got one over there?
Yeah. How do you make a barbecue laugh?
How do you make a barbecue laugh? I don't know.
Tickle its ribs.
Nice. There we go. All right. This website that I randomly quickly pulled up. Let's see. What do you call a group of men waiting for a haircut?
I don't know what you call them.
A barbecue. I don't know. That was...
barbecue.
Yeah. A barbecue. There we go. Oh, I read it wrong. There we go. Fantastic. All right. You got another one there?
Sure. What's a grill's favorite type of math?
What's a grill's favorite type? Ooh, I don't know. Type of math.
Meat trick conversions.
Nice. Okay. Okay. What's the funniest barbecue movie of all time?
I don't know.
Monty Python and the Holy Grill. Nah.
Nice.
That was a stretch. All right, you got one more for us?
Yeah, my last one.
Okay.
Why did the chicken join the band at the cookout?
Why did the chicken join the band at the cookout? I don't know.
It had the drumsticks.
That's good. Okay. That is a good one to end on. And those are your daily dad jokes. Nice. For this Monday, August 4th. And we're going to go ahead. It's that time now to head back over to JT in the morning. Thanks so much for joining us. Ray, thanks for sending in your daily dad joke there. Coming up in our next segment, we'll have your KAHI news. We'll also have more events for the calendar. Also, if we've got time for a mental health minute. Let's head back now to JT in the morning.
Here is the sound of thousands of Spanish whistling.
First Thing Today by Joe Thomas on the Talk Media Network.
It is time for our sports director, Mac McDonald, legend of ACC's time and time again, and a program director at the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting in Full Sail University in Florida. They are brought to you by the Lunch Pail Foundation. What's important now? That's getting kids a scholarship to college so that they can pursue their dreams. Good morning, Brother Mac. How was your weekend, sir?
Well, good morning. It was good. And yesterday was a lot of fun because I had a chance to watch Lake Mary's Little League team, the one that won the world title last year. And they went through the regionals. They'll play for the regional championship Tuesday to go back to Williamsport. As I said,
Nice
they're
deal.
neighbors. If you remember, we interviewed the coach, John Anderson, ran a story with him last year. I went over to Lake Mary, which is a par 5 from where I live, and we decided to, I met him and wanted to, discuss some things with him and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They have outscored their opponents in this regional run 108-4.
Well, that's like the Milwaukee
108-4.
Brewers and that's the Brewers and the Nationals score this weekend.
I know exactly what so anyway, it was a lot of fun. All right, and so then I ended up getting into this big discussion about Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns. And I said, okay, I'm bringing it to the table because it sounds like Flacco's going to be the starter in Cleveland at age 40. He just wants to play. He doesn't want to be a mentor. He was always favored to win the job. He's competing with Kenny Pickett and a pair of rookies. The 40-year-old is by far the most proven of the bunch. Jackson says rookies Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders never had much of a legitimate chance of beating out the veterans, and Pickett is working his way back from a hamstring injury. So, and that was one of the insiders for the Browns. Now Flacco admits he thinks a strong relationship with the guys, it's super in the quarterback room, but he has no interest of playing the role of big brother. Here's Joe Flacco.
If I say I don't want to be a mentor, I look bad. If I say I do want to be a mentor, then I look like an idiot that doesn't care about being good and playing football. I tend to try to be honest, and I've said I'm not a mentor. I play football. And in a quarterback room, there's a lot of times there's been a ton of times where there's learning experiences, and I have a lot of experience, and I can talk on things, and hopefully they listen. But it's not necessarily like my job to make sure they listen to me.
Yeah, it's like
well said.
It's not my job. I mean, I'm not taking you guys under the wing, and so when it was draft day and the Browns grabbed a couple of quarterback rookies, including Shedeur in the 12th round, the former Raven was well aware of what the Browns were trying to accomplish.
I think you always have a little bit of reaction, going back to being honest. Yeah, I mean, my wife was like, oh, they just drafted another guy. my wife is on top of it,
Better be.
So anyway, there you go. Super Bowl champion, a comeback player of the year, quite the resume, not to mention the ECAC and CAA player of the year.
I mean, that's
let's go deep into the resume. We want to know if this guy's going to be any good, but he'll probably get the starting nod Thursday. It starts the exhibition weekend. Everybody starts
what
Thursday
Joe really needs is guys like Suggs and Ray Lewis playing defense for the Browns, because that was his
exactly.
As long as Joe got them to about 14 points, they were going to win in Baltimore when he was there.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to convince this guy. This guy was drinking champagne with pineapple juice.
Whoa.
And he had the vape pen going.
Bless you for debating him.
Yeah, one of the worst. And so he got very, very mouthy. He was from Cleveland. We this, we that.
Yeah,
that. It's just, I'm a Raiders guy, but I never say we. It's just one of those things. And we teach our students. So our students come down from, all kinds of cities or whatever, and their first stand-ups at the Dan Patrick School, they go, well, we are looking for, their stories. We are looking for it. And I said, all right, lose that. Lose we. You're no longer we until you're a coach. All right. And then, when that changes. So with all the all right. Do we still have to experiment with Bristol Speedway and how many events they hold a circus, hold a state fair? Let's lose this baseball. Did you see how they introduced the teams with a pit crew?
That's right. And the cars,
of course, it got rained out, and they had 85,000 on Saturday. It got rained out. They had 91,000, I think, was the number that I saw. And so before the game, they're introducing the players with a NASCAR pit crew. And so they had the guys change tires before they introduced the bread. Come on.
You got to give a little respect to the showmanship. I mean, it was a little Bill Veeck. This is the kind of thing that Bill Veeck, the old owner of the Chicago White Sox, would have done. And
the midget was not the good. This little person was not the best thing.
It was tough to strike him out, though.
But the Reds catcher, he wears Ricky Bobby's racing suit in his catching gear. How good is that?
But what I was surprised at and I was watching more in and around the game because this is all supposed to be proof that Tennessee can have Major League Baseball.
I guess.
Well, that was the promotion that I got. The emails that I received was, is Tennessee ready for Major League Baseball? And I'm waiting for that shoe to drop. I know that Tampa Bay was just purchased by a guy from Jacksonville, and don't spend any money, Tampa. I know you're listening to us down there. KFOI, or WFOY, don't spend money on rebuilding the Rays Stadium. They're just going to Jacksonville anyway. And I'm pretty sure, I was expecting anyway, and it shows you what I know. I was expecting some announcement that somebody in Nashville had just purchased the Washington Nationals, and they were going to become the Nashville Nationals.
Yeah, the Nashville Nats.
Because it's clearly the Lerner family has no interest in this team, and the team has lost interest in the Lerner family. And the Milwaukee game, it was like a rec softball weekend. It was, hold it. Can Milwaukee have 14 runs here and 20 runs the next day? It was just crazy. Under the subject of mailing it in, the only way this weekend would have gone any worse for DC was if they had mentioned that, by the way, we're buying the Nationals and we're moving them to Nashville. Because honestly, they'd have better attendance there. It would be a bigger market team, and the team would have more resources. And then instead of rebuilding RFK Stadium, just expand, Nationals Park and put the Commanders/Skins in there.
Yeah, they had. By the way, that number was 38-14. Milwaukee outscored the Nats 38-14 over the weekend.
Ouch!
One of those lopsided things. And of course, the big talk is the Marlins sweep, first time in franchise history over the Yankees, and the Yankees, and the Fish reached 500 for the first time since April 15th.
And where's Derek Jeter?
And then the Marlins run. So the Marlins pull the Boston trick. What do they do in the seventh inning? They sing "Sweet Caroline." So you guys, the Marlins have the lead, and they do the Boston, the Neil Diamond song, which
Is Jeter still own the Marlins? I mean, he was part
he walked away from that about a year ago, I think, year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I think, he walked away from it and sold his interest. He didn't like the way the direction of the franchise and what was going on. So
you're the owner, aren't you? The one who decides that, Derek? I mean, maybe not.
But I'll have tomorrow. By the way, just a little caveat: Virginia Tech head coach Brent Pry has at least he made a public comment. It wasn't much of one, but he made a public comment. Asked at the end of practice, because he always does. Coaches do the post practice stuff,
right?
And he answered the question regarding tampering, but he really didn't say much. He just more or less passed the buck, and I mean it in a good way. I don't mean that in a bad way. I like Brent Pry, and I'm hoping he's having he has a real good year. I'm rooting for Tony Elliott as well in the Commonwealth. Those guys both need good years. But Brent just said, "Hey, Tech's handling it. They're going to look at. They're going to release it at some point. They're going to let you know that the tampering, did it happen? Did it not happen? Who was on the sideline at that North Carolina Central with Trey Oliver, the head coach, who was at a banquet and just happened to say, yeah, there was a tampering thing going on. Acted like it was some banquet story.
I'm sorry, they gave him passes to be on the sideline at some point. No,
somebody had to okay that.
BS on it.
Even in an HBCU game, I mean, somebody had to. A lower division game, somebody has to. Okay that.
I can't just walk down on the field and start talking to guys. So
I got to call Bud today. He's back from his boat trip. I can't wait to find out.
Very cool. What's important now is getting scholarships. Oh yes, thank you. I have a ball cap now. I'm doing my James Carville here with the ball cap. I don't understand what all this is all about.
Hi, I'm Mark Falter with the Financial Fitness Show. Have you been keeping up on the big, beautiful bill? If you are over the age of 60, everything you thought you knew about taxes and tax preparation has just done a big shift. So if you want to get more information on how the big, beautiful bill applies to you, I welcome you to call and ask for the Tax Reform Kit. It's got several things in it pertaining to your taxes. A booklet titled Take Charge of Your Taxes, Tax Strategies, several things in it, 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. The Tax Reform Kit Again, 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635.
And good Monday morning to you. It is August 4th, and it is 15 minutes to the top of the hour, 7:45 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Shingle Springs. Currently 60 where you're at right now, looking for a high today of 85 degrees. All right, let's talk about another event for the calendar. It is the annual Horses for Healing fundraiser, Spaghetti and Meatball Bash. This is on August 16th. Featuring Todd Morgan and the Emblems. That's going to be a 50s and 60s rock and roll band. Now, since 1997, Horses for Healing has offered riding for children and adults with special needs. Go to support the program. Now, the location for this Spaghetti and Meatball Bash is going to be at the Auburn Elks Lodge. That's at 195 Pine Street here in Auburn. There's going to be a bake sale, that 50s band, and a tickets to advanced ticket sales are $45 each or $165 for a pack, and that's going to be available through August 15th. So if you want to get your advance tickets, you need to get them before August 15th. Tickets at the door on August 16th are $50 each, checks and credit cards accepted. You want to schedule events? Well, I'll tell you a schedule of events. 4:45 p.m. doors open. At 5 p.m., there's live music and a silent auction. That's going to start then. And from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m., that is when it is served. For 9573, or you can go to horsesforhealing.org. That's horsesforhealing.org. Again, it's the 14th annual Horses for Healing fundraiser, Spaghetti and Meatball Bash. That's going to be on August 16th. It's going to be at the Auburn Elks Lodge, 195 Pine Street in Auburn. Bake sale, 50s and 60s rock and roll band, silent auction. There's a whole lot happening there. Again, the advanced ticket sales, $45 each or $165 for a 4-pack. That's going to be available through August 15th. And then if you want to get them at the door, you can. They'll be $50 each there. Again, you can find out more information by calling 530-887-9573 or go to horsesforhealing.org. Back with your KAHI News right after this.
Hi, I'm Martha Barnett.
And I'm Grant Barrett.
We're hosts of A Way with Words, a weekly show about language.
We take your calls from anywhere in the country.
And from outside the country, too.
About anything and everything related to communication.
It's a show about speaking and writing and why we say the things we do.
It's also a show about history, family, and culture.
Satisfy your linguistic curiosity Saturdays and Sundays at 7 p.m. on the Voice of the Foothills, AM 950, KAHI.
And here's your KAHI News for Monday, August 4th. I'm Chris Quant. Police officer in Placer County arrested after domestic incident. This is from Fox 40 News. An officer with the Auburn Police Department in Placer County was arrested after an investigation into a domestic incident. According to APD, the officer was taken into custody by members of the Lincoln Police Department. The arrest stemmed from a domestic incident that was reported in July. Quote, given the nature of the reported incident, we are treating this with the utmost regard, unquote, said APD Chief of Police Brian Morrison. Quote, we understand the community expects transparency from its police department and law enforcement officers. To promote that, we are ensuring that a thorough and impartial internal investigation occurs, unquote. The officer has been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation, according to APD. The circumstances behind the incident are unclear. However, APD said the officer could be a victim or suspect, so the identity has not been disclosed. Community policing shines as NorCal officers help overwhelmed widow with flat tire. This is also from Fox 40 News. A day was made better for a grieving woman who was going through a hard time thanks to help from a Northern California law enforcement agency. After completing a recent call for service at a local shopping center, the Citrus Heights Police Department officer observed a woman nearby who appeared to be distressed because of a flat tire. Together, they changed the woman's tire, ensuring her tools and spare were properly secured, and provided reassurance throughout the process. According to CHPD, the woman expressed her gratitude and shared that she was recently widowed. She told them she had been feeling overwhelmed and that their assistance provided her with not only immediate help, but also with a sense of compassion and caring during a difficult time. Police said that after the woman promised to stay off the highway while using the spare donut tire and to get her vehicle to a tire shop as soon as she could, she embraced them and took a photo. Quote, "These moments may not make the headlines, but they're a big part of what community policing is all about. Kindness, service, and a willingness to help when someone needs it the most," unquote, CHPD said. Quote, "We're glad she's back on the road safely," unquote. Back with more news after this.
What keeps you up at night? Is it the mysteries of the universe, the secrets of history, or maybe the stories no one else dares to tell? I'm Frank Morano, and I invite you to discover The Other Side of Midnight, where curiosity never sleeps. From the fascinating to the forbidden, we tackle it all. Catch the conversation weeknights from 2 to 6 a.m. right here on the Voice of the Foothills, FM 104.5 and AM 950. KAHI, the night is alive. Join us.
Hi, this is Andrew Twidwell, owner of ABT Plumbing, Electric, Heat, and Air. ABT has been in business since 2001, and we are thrilled to have been voted Auburn's best plumbing company and best heating and cooling company in Auburn Journal's Best of Auburn promotion. We're very proud to have placed as runner-up in electrical category as well. Our technicians are experienced and friendly. If you have an issue with your plumbing, need a whole house generator, or maybe your furnace isn't working, give ABT a call. Reach us at 530-230-9004 for excellent service. It really is as easy as ABT.
Anderson Sierra Pipe is a proud supporter of the Garden Goddesses on KAHI. For retail supply needs, visit Anderson's at 825 Nevada Street in Auburn. If you're looking for irrigation supplies or need guidance on how to be water wise, Anderson's can help with everything from fertilizing to weed control and drainage. Anderson's is the area's largest supplier of pellets and energy logs, and they're fully stocked for summer orders to save on future price increases. Call Anderson's at 530-885-8475. If you're looking for service, repair, or water testing, Anderson's Service Department is at 385 Chamberlain Avenue. Call the service team at 530-888-3756.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins.
Everybody feeling positive where we're at in the country. We all came together.
MAGA Republicans are destroying American democracy.
You know, I felt that. Yeah. I felt that this morning. I was getting in the truck. I was driving to work. I was looking around. I'm like, man, the sun is shining.
That is a threat to this country.
I feel the unity.
Clear and present danger.
Weekdays from 1 to 4 on the Voice of the Foothills.
FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Continuing now with your KAHI News from the Morning Brew, taking a look at the week ahead. Back to class. Get your lunch packed up and your boots tied tight. It's time to go back to school, or at least start shopping for school supplies, depending on where you live. According to the National Retail Federation, parents expect to spend an average of $144 on supplies this school year. That doesn't even count new sneakers or electronics. Several states are conducting tax-free holidays to help defray costs. Some big shows are back. Grab an Alamo beer and kick back. All 10 episodes of the new King of the Hill reboot hit Hulu today. Then Addams Family spinoff Wednesday dances back onto Netflix this Wednesday, of course. And the Freaky Friday sequel lands in theaters on Friday, also, of course. This week marks 80 years since the U.S. dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Consumer credit data will be released on Thursday, and Friday is President Trump's deadline for Russia to end the war in Ukraine. And from the Morning Brew, here's what else is brewing. Hamas released footage of emaciated Israeli hostage Evatar David on Saturday, which drew widespread international criticism. Hamas said on Sunday it would work with the Red Cross to deliver aid to Israeli hostages in Gaza if its conditions were met. Also on Sunday, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that he was seeking a, quote, military solution, unquote, to free the remaining hostages. OPEC Plus agreed to raise oil output in September by 547,000 barrels per day. Delta Airlines told U.S. senators it would not use AI to personalize ticket prices. And Lonnie Anderson, who played receptionist Jennifer Marlowe on WKRP in Cincinnati, died at age 79. And finally, also from the Morning Brew, today's word of the day is quorum, meaning the minimum number of members of a body required to be present at a meeting. Quorum. And that's your KAHI News for this Monday, August 4th. I'm Chris Quant. Back with more after this.
Save at Sunrise Natural Foods. Right now, enjoy 25% off all Dr. Mercola products. That's big savings on everything from joint and bone health to brain and memory support, digestive health, heart health, and more. And remember, those 55 and better save 15% every Wednesday. And Wednesdays are now also demo days. Check out and sample new products to stay up to date on the latest health trends in Auburn and Roseville or online at sunrisenaturalfoods.net. Sunrise Natural Foods, made with life's best ingredients.
She saw the Earth from space, and it made an incredible impression on this astronaut. I'm Pop Dog. Hi, Mary Jane Pop here. Can long hours and hard work equal success? Maybe there's another formula. And if you're a fan of movies and TV, then you may love a collectible. And why is there so much mental health issues these days? We go in search of truth Saturday 5 to 7 a.m., Sunday 9 to 11 p.m., 24/7 at KAHI.com. Let's talk life.
Here's Jimmy J, DJ of the Stars.
BB Bumble and the Stingers, Monta Hoople, Rachel Singers, Lonnie Mack and Twang and Eddie. Here's my ring. We're going stop. Ooh, I didn't realize the mic was on. Hi, this is Jimmy J. How you doing? Join me every Saturday at 8 p.m. right here on KAHI. I have the stars you grew up with, some great music, and I promise I won't sing. So join me this Saturday, 8 p.m. for Rewind, right here on the Voice of the Foothills, AM 950, KAHI.
Be sure to listen to the Garden Goddesses, Saturday mornings at 8, right here on the Voice of the Foothills.
And this is Cindy from the Garden Goddesses. Thanks for being a loyal listener, and please join us every Saturday morning from 8 to 9 on KAHI, the Voice of the Foothills, and we will teach you all we know about gardening.
I've learned so much myself, and I've only been here a few months. You can learn so much on their show. It is the ultimate gardening show.
Absolutely. So join us every Saturday morning from 8 to 9.
Right here on the Voice of the Foothills.
3 minutes to the top of the hour, 7:57 a.m. Okay, Producer Shane, we were talking about during the commercial break that you actually mentioned King of the Hill is being rebooted now. Hulu's putting out all 10 episodes. You actually went to, what's the story? You were in marching band?
I was in marching band in college with a guy named Chris McJimsey.
Okay.
And he was telling us how his dad is Mark McJimsey, one of the producers of King of the Hill. And sure enough, my friend Chris would walk around school wearing a King of the Hill hoodie and stuff like that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
And one of the funny little anecdotes he shared with us is that previous to being a producer on King of the Hill, he was an editor for The Simpsons and I could see for over 100 episodes.
So his dad was,
yeah.
an editor. Okay.
And
wow.
So for the episode of Who Shot Mr. Burns, they actually filmed 2 endings to that. Because they didn't want it, because it was a cliffhanger over an end of a season to another season. So it was a 6-month-long cliffhanger.
As they used to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess they still kind of do that in a way. But yeah, you finish one season with like, what's going to happen? Yeah, obviously to get us back for the next season.
Yeah,
3 months later, something like that.
Yeah, it was a month later that they finally released it. But they recorded 2 endings, so even the cast couldn't leak it because they're like, this is a long time.
They don't know. Yeah.
So
my gosh.
There was only 3 people that knew the ending of that the true ending of that episode, which was my friend's dad, the editor.
No kidding.
And Matt Groening and one of the other producers.
Yeah, the producers.
Because they were in the room with him when he edited it.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Oh yeah, because of course if he's in there editing it, obviously he knows what the final cut's going to be.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, that's fantastic. So that's really cool. And then after that, he went to King of the Hill then? And,
after that he went to the King of the Hill as a producer and was there for 10 years or something like that.
How interesting. I'm curious to know what a producer on an animated series does. Like what was his job there as far as producing goes? That would be interesting.
I don't know. I was curious. I wanted to meet him forever because I was a big Simpsons fan.
Yeah.
So one time there was an opportunity to go stay at their house for a Magic Mountain trip, but I didn't have the cash for Magic Mountain.
Yeah.
Honestly, my motivation was more to meet his dad than it was to go to Magic Mountain. So
I wanted to like, you can keep the rides, the Superman ride, the Batman ride to yourself. That's fun. I actually want to go and meet the producer on.
Because I heard they also have the house is filled with memorabilia from all the shows.
Can you imagine? Oh yeah, he probably has so much like that. Oh, that's incredible. Yeah, like with any job. All right, it is 20 seconds to the top of the hour, 7:59 a.m. Gang, that's 2 hours down. We've got the 8 o'clock hour coming up. We'll pause for station ID. Back with more right after this.
FM 104.5, K283CM, Auburn, and AM 950, KAHI, Auburn.
Wake up, it's Chris in the morning light. On KAHI, your day starts right. Foothill news and a smile or two. With a dad joke fresh and the weather too. He's the voice of the hills, keeping it real. Local talk with hometown feel. So grab your coffee, don't hit snooze. It's Chris in the morning with your daily news.
Yeah, and good Monday morning to you. It is August 4th, and it is right smack dab at the top of the hour. It is 8 a.m. here at FM 104.5, AM 950 KAHI. You know what it is. It is the voice of the foothills. Chris Quant with you here, holding it down. Beautiful, gorgeous, fantastic, air-conditioned, a little chilly actually. Studio A, KAHI Studios, looking through the Venetian blinds. Another beautiful day downtown Auburn here. We'll check in with meteorologist Tim Root here in just a bit to find out what our KAHI weather is looking like. Joining me per usual, producer Shane. Shane, good morning. How are you?
Doing well, Chris.
Good. Got the shirt of the day on. I actually joined you in the shirt of the day today. So if you're curious on what these shirts of the day, or the SOTDs like we like to call them, you can tune in youtube.com/@, that's the @ symbol, KAHI-radio. And check out here, we're waving at the cameras here in Studio A. All right, producer Shane, real quick, Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson is going to call in here in just a little bit. We're going to talk to her during the 8 o'clock hour here. So excited to chat with her. Just find out a little bit more about Cindy. We hear her on the Meddlers meeting. Again, Meddlers meeting are on Tuesday, so we'll listen in on that tomorrow. I just want to find a little bit about who Cindy is as a person, kind of like what she's excited about, what she's working on right now in Placer County. District 5 is a big district. One of the questions I have for her is, what is your gas bill like, lady? She is everywhere because she has to go to all of these things. She lives up in Tahoe, or up in Truckee up there, so she... it's not a short commute coming down to Meddlers every morning, which starts at like 7 a.m., so I know she's got busy days. But before we do that, earlier in the morning, we promised we would get to some trivia today, as we do. We like to do our physical exercises in the morning and our mental exercises. Shane, you'll be a proxy for our dear listener at home, but listener at home, you can also play along here. We've got some military trivia today. So military trivia. It's a branch of the U.S. Armed Forces that is celebrating its 235th birthday today. 235 years. That's a hot minute. Here's some clues, and you have to determine which branch it is. Okay, it's the only one inside the Department of Homeland Security. So the only military branch inside of the Department of Homeland Security. Number 2, it's the second smallest U.S. military service branch in terms of membership. Mm-hmm. And number 3, celebrities who have served in the branch include Arnold Palmer, Jeff Bridges, and Popeye. So if you know what branch of the service Popeye served in, that would be it. So think about that. While we're thinking about that, we're going to go to meteorologist Tim Root here to find out what our weather is looking like. Timmy, what's our weather looking like out there?
My Monday forecast is calling for dry weather, sunny weather, warm weather today. You'll be in the mid-80s, a southwest wind about 6 to 12 miles per hour. This area of high pressure will keep us dry overnight, mostly clear skies, around 58, 59 for the low. Tuesday and Wednesday with high pressure locked in, it looks like mostly sunny skies will continue. The high around 87 Tuesday and about 92 on Wednesday. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
4 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:04 a.m. Hey, the phone's ringing. Let's see if we can get somebody on the line here. KAHI Radio, you're on the radio. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. This is
Cindy Gustafson.
Hi, Cindy. Good morning. How are you? I was expecting you to call in a little bit later, but we're going to get you right on here. How are you this morning?
Well, actually, I was just checking to see how the reception is.
Well, you're really great. Do we want me to put you on hold and we can wait for a little bit if you've got some stuff to do? I just saw the phone was ringing. I'm like, well, let's answer it right now. See who's calling in.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm happy to go right now. If you're ready to go, I'm happy.
Well, let's do that. Actually, what we're going to do, we're going to pay off something here, so you can join right on with us. I've got producer Shane here with me this morning as well. Shane's here, and we were just doing a little bit of trivia today. So, do you want to join in our bit of trivia here before we start with the interview?
Oh, sure.
Cindy, we're very flexible here on Chris in the Morning. So let's do this here. The clues were it's some military trivia here. So we've got it's basically a branch of the U.S. Armed Forces is celebrating its 235th birthday today. So we're going to have 3 clues here. The job is to guess which branch of the service this is. First clue is it's the only one inside the Department of Homeland Security. That's our first clue. Second is it's the second smallest U.S. military service branch in terms of membership. And number 3, celebrities who have served in the branch include Arnold Palmer, Jeff Bridges, and Popeye. So, any guesses, Cindy, from those 3 clues that we've got there?
Oh my gosh! Well, I mean, the only thing I can, guess on is Popeye was a sailor, right?
Yes.
The Navy.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought too. I was thinking, well, because it was smaller, I was thinking it would probably not Navy, but I was thinking Merchant Marines for some reason. I thought Popeye.
Oh, very good.
But
very good.
Actually, I was wrong. But producer Shane, you actually got it.
Yeah, U.S. Coast Guard.
The U.S. Coast Guard. Who knew that Popeye was in the U.S. Coast Guard?
I always thought he was a sailor man.
That's what I thought the same thing too, Cindy. Yeah. So apparently the Coast Guard as the Revenue Cutter Service was established in 1790, making it the oldest continuous seagoing service, even older than the Navy. But Shane, you said in times if there's wartime, it becomes part of the Navy. Then.
It's something like that. I don't know the exact details,
okay.
but yeah, it gets moved under the Navy and during wars.
Okay, well, fantastic. And a unique responsibility, the Coast Guard is responsible for breaking ice to create shipping lanes to Antarctica. So there you go. If you didn't know, now you know that the Coast Guard is in charge of breaking the ice. So, all right, there's your party joke. 7 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:07 a.m. Joining us now calling in is Placer County Supervisor District 5, Cindy Gustafson. Cindy, thanks so much for calling in. I know we're a little bit off here, but glad that you're calling in, and thanks for joining us here. Let's jump right into it if you're up for it.
I am. Thank you.
Well, we hear you regularly. We broadcast the Meddlers meetings on Tuesday mornings, the Chamber of Commerce meetings. So we get to hear your updates every week, which is really great. And whether you're there in person or having to Zoom in sometimes. But I thought it would be really great just for our listeners just to kind of know, like, okay, like Cindy, she does a lot of things. She's kind of all over the place. Maybe some folks know you, maybe they don't. But I just wanted to start out and just say, what got you into public service? Because I would imagine there's a lot of good, but I'm sure like you hear a lot of like the complaints as well. Now I'm sure there's probably equal amounts, but I'm sure there's a lot of people trying to get your ear and trying to get a piece of your time. So Cindy, kind of what was your motivation, and can we get a little bit about your path into public service and how you got here?
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me this morning, first off. And sorry for all those out there that I should have gotten my trivia for the military correct.
Don't apologize. That's half the fun is just being kind of just off the top of the cuff there. Just a quick.
Exactly. My father, I tell this story all the time. My father worked for the federal government and was kind of recruited out of the Midwest to go back to Washington, D.C. So I grew up, even though our roots and our family were all from the Midwest, I grew up in the D.C. area. And my father was a huge role model and mentor to me and taught us the values of public service. And, our country's only great because of people that try to get in and provide public service. So that was really my inspiration. And I served 26 years at Tahoe City Public Utility District. and worked my way up to general manager my last 8 years of service there.
Okay.
And when I retired, I knew I wanted to give back and continue to give back to the community because it was what I always knew, was making a difference, solving problems, trying to bring some rational, sometimes rational thought to a very political situation.
Yeah.
So when my predecessor left the Board of Supervisors, I thought, well, this is a good time to test the waters. And the board appointed me, and the voters supported that 8 months later in the first election, and then again in last fall. So, I feel honored, and it's a privilege, but boy, it's a daunting task to try to solve problems, especially today in a very divisive political scenarios, maybe more divisive than I've ever seen it in my life. So.
Yeah, and now we kind of think, when we think of the Board of Supervisors, we don't think like Republican or Democrat or independent or anything like that. Really, it's not really party based. It's just we're here, we're representing the county, and you're basically voting for that person based on their background. Like, just tell us a little bit about the makeup of the supervisors and how, like, you're District 5, but how you all come together and how often you meet. Is it weekly, and what are you guys usually discussing? Like, who sets the agenda when it comes to your guys' meetings, and kind of how do those go with you, working in conjunction with your fellow supervisors?
Well, I'd say, first off, all 5 of us really respect each other and our individual perspective, especially as it relates to our district. That is one thing I've noticed, is that we really defer to the supervisor of that district to best be in touch with her or his constituents. And so, we try to respect and honor what their feeling is, but come together to make a decision, because it takes 3 votes, no matter what, how, you think you might be right. You need to balance that with what it will take to get 3 votes to move things forward. The agendas are set by so many state and local mandates. So there are certain items that must come to us for approval for contracts with the state, planning department items and land use items that have certain time frames from, when the Planning Commission makes a decision to the Board of Supervisors. The CEO ultimately and his office make the determinations of what goes on which agenda and when.
Okay.
And then as board members, we can also influence that. If we really want to see something agendized and discussed and make a change, then it's up to us to talk to the chair and get it on the agenda. So.
Okay. Interesting. Now, one of the things that I've, when I think about, you've got, for instance, you've got the city of Auburn, and you've got the council and whatnot. So you've got kind of the individual cities, and then you've got the county. I'm trying to think from from my corporate America background here. You've got an organizational chart, an org chart of how everybody lines up. In kind of like state politics and county, where do the Board of Supervisors fit? Are you like a go-between between the county and the state capital, and what is your guys' sphere of influence? How does that work?
Oh, well, that's a great question. Yes, we are the go-between sometimes. I mean, obviously, constituents can go right to their state representative. But often the state representative, well, they always are representing a much larger area and wouldn't necessarily know the individual issue.
Okay.
And would defer to the local elected. So if there's anything I've learned in my service, both in prior to joining the board and with the board, is that developing strong relationships with your state electeds and your congressional electeds is very important, because if they find you credible, if they can rely on the information that you're giving them balanced and good recommendations, then they'll listen to you and move your items forward. And a great story I have about that is Senator Brian Dawley. I had known him for many years as he entered state service. And when the group came forward, Parks, who wanted to get the debris out of the American River, I was able to call Senator Dawley's office, and he put that bill forward, and the state is now funding that great project. It's state debris. The state should have always taken it out.
Yeah.
But it really took Senator Dawley to bring that forward. So, that's just one example. But, there's so many like that our relationship, and if we do our job right, and if we're credible and live up to the responsibilities of our office, I think that the state and congressional federal electeds trust us and listen to us as a representative of our community.
Yeah. I want to come back to the bridge debris here in a minute here, because I know that's something that's been a long time coming. And, we mentioned that's getting kicked off here. We've got the folks lined up. And I like how you said, I think last week, I don't know how they're going to get the equipment in there to get that stuff out because of where it's at in the river. But I guess that's why we hire the professionals to come in there and do it. But real quickly, are there times where you or your fellow supervisors are called down to Sacramento? Are you making trips frequently to the state capitol, or is that just kind of like as needed, or does it not happen at all?
Oh, no, there are times that we're asked to testify on issues that are coming before the committees, especially of the legislature. There are other times that we solicit meetings to plead our case with staff of various committees and or our direct legislators. So that does happen. And then we have lobbyists in Sacramento that keep their eyes on and ears open to all the various bills coming forward. There's, as you know, thousands of them.
Yeah.
And it would be impossible for us to keep track of that. But we have on our own CEO team somebody who oversees our lobbyist contract and makes sure they stay in touch with what the legislature might be doing that affects our local governments, whether it be cities or counties.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm always kind of wondering, what is the relationship there? Do you have to go down there? And it's always interesting to find out how the different folks are working together to get those things done, because it really does take a collaboration, as I'm learning. So I was. Your fantastic chief of staff, Sophie, which you'll mention occasionally on Wednesdays, or on Tuesdays.
Always.
She's always there. I think she's your left hand. Your left hand there, making sure everything's getting done. She was asking kind of as we were setting this up. She's like, "Well, what did you want to talk about?" And I said, "I really want to talk about the round in Auburn here that's happening." And ask her. And I said, "No, Sophie, I'm kidding. No, we all know that all the delays that are going on in that." But one question I did have is, of all the initiatives that are going on in District 5 right now, and can you remind us kind of the boundaries of District 5, what that covers? And I would love to know what's happening right now that you're most excited about, or that's really got a lot of your attention. You're like, man, I'm really excited to see this move forward.
So the boundaries, first off, kind of start at Newcastle at 193.
Okay.
And run all the way up to the state line of Nevada. So it's about 80% of the county's territory is in my district, but we're more sparsely populated. So we, it takes that much area and that many different communities to make up an even share. Each of the supervisory districts are 1/5 of the population of the county. So that's why it's so large. And what I'm probably most focused on right now, because it is summer and we're in the peak of what is now wildfire years, but wildfire risk times. The progress our county has made through collaboration and a lot of effort in really getting projects on the ground. We're the #1 county in the nation with fire-wise communities. So our citizens really care about this issue, want to protect their homes and their loved ones, and they're doing their part, and we've got to do our part to get more funding, especially to our state and federal lands, because they surround us. The county doesn't really, we don't have the funding, nor do we have the control of these lands to go in and take care of the forest. So we need to have partnerships. And I think we've made great progress. Our tools and our mapping for wildfire are incredible. We've mapped all the high-risk areas, and we're moving that forward with funding and priority funding. We're often asked to participate in those discussions about what more can we do. And I really appreciate Congressman Kiley and our state representative, Assemblymember Hadwick, and Senator Alvarado Gill and their efforts to get more funding for both state and our federal resources here.
Yeah, definitely important. I was at a community meeting over the weekend, and that was definitely one of the main issues brought up is fire protection, fire safety. What are things that are being put in place as far as how we do this? Because like you said, it's not a season anymore. There was a lady at the meeting that says, I've heard of the 4 seasons. I've never heard of fire season until I moved up here. As yeah, that is true. So, but not even a season anymore. It's the year, and we get a couple months off, I guess, December through maybe February. But other than that, it's something that's been, on our minds. So yeah, definitely appreciate all that you and our local representatives are doing to make sure that that's, something that we're staying in mind of, and, know your zone, know your evacuation zone. That's just how life is now. That's how we're having to live our lives. So we appreciate that that's something that's always kind of at the forefront. If you're just joining us, we're talking to Placer County Supervisor District 5, Cindy Gustafson. And Cindy, thanks so much for calling in. Unless Producer Shane, you have any questions, I do have a final question, Cindy, but I wanted to we're going to connect on Mondays, the first Monday of the month. So thank you so much for calling in. So I know that we have other questions, but is there anything that you would like to let folks know, before I have my final kind of a funsy question here for you, but anything that you would like folks to know and be aware of?
Well, I think that, right now we are doing our 2050 vision plan for Placer County. And on Tuesday morning, we're going to be releasing, at the board meeting, we'll be discussing the vision statement. I think that's critical, especially to my constituents who live in the more rural areas and are really concerned with quality of life, transportation, housing, and fire safety, and making sure that vision statement captures what they'd be interested in. And so I'd say that's the most timely issue. And I want everyone to know how accessible we are. Yeah. Those of your listeners who have an issue, have a question, reach out to our office. This is what our job is to serve the people. And, unless we hear from you, we don't know what your concerns are, what the issues are. So we are available, and, we try to get answers to everybody's questions. Sometimes we can't. They're not easy. Yeah. And other times we get things resolved very quickly. So
that's one thing I do appreciate. We see it week in and week out at Medlars. You're like, I don't have the answer, but let me write that down and we'll get it. And usually next week, you're back with the answer. So you're like, you don't forget it. So that's that's great to get that follow up and have that accountability is really great. All right, Cindy, let's end on this one for now. I know you kind of live up the hill a little bit up near the Tahoe area. My question is, you are all over the place from getting here early in the mornings on Tuesday. I know you've got meetings all over. How many miles do you put on your car a year? Have you ever averaged that out? I'm like, my gosh, that lady's got to spend most of her life in her car. All this space she has to cover.
I do spend way too much time in the car. But, my guess is about 40,000 miles.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, because this car has about 95,000, and I think I've had it just over 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a lot. But, the county does take care of our cars for us. So
I wondered about that.
They provide either mileage or a vehicle, and it's actually cheaper for the county to provide us the vehicle. So that's what we do, what I do. And yes, I put a lot of time in, but I live in the most beautiful district. No offense to my other 4 supervisors, but I get to see everything from the High Sierra to the foothills, and seeing all of the smaller communities is really important.
It really is, and it's good to know of like kind of based on population and why it is such a bigger district. But I tend to agree. I think you've got a pretty sweet district here. I appreciate it myself, and I know a lot of folks do. So, Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson, District 5, is on the line. Cindy, thanks so much for calling in. Looking forward to hearing your updates for us tomorrow on the Meddlers meeting, and looking forward to chatting again next month.
Okay, Chris, thank you so much for having me, and I'll try to be more ready for a trivia question.
Well, you didn't know that was coming, so no, you did great, and you and our listeners at home, we were all guessing together. Well, I guess I knew the answer, but everybody else was guessing together, so thanks so much, Cindy. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, you too.
All right, we'll
Take
talk
care.
to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
25 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:25 a.m. That was Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson, District 5. Great to talk to Cindy, and she's going to be calling in here first Mondays of the month just to check in and see how things are going in our district, in our county here. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more right after this.
The voice of the Foothills is now the voice of the San Francisco Giants.
Now Wilmer Flores. 10th time in his career that he's had multiple home runs in the same game. High fly ball to left. Hit deep. And out of here. He's done it again. What a night for Wilmer Flores. He's knocked in all of the Giants' runs.
Catch every Giants game right here on KAHI AM and FM, brought to you in part by the Lincoln Potters baseball team.
Here's Fred Penny with Penny & Associates.
When you or a family member have been injured in an accident, what should you look for in a personal injury lawyer? The first thing is an experienced personal injury law firm that is actually taking cases to trial. Hi, I'm Frederick Penny, managing partner and founder of Penny & Associate Injury Lawyers. For over 30 years, Penny & Associate Injury Lawyers has been successfully representing individuals and their families. At Penny & Associates, we're experienced trial lawyers, and we work with you to get the best results.
Go to PennyandAssociates.com or call 800-616-4529.
Hi, this is Dr. Dahlia, and I'm thrilled to announce that I've joined the KAHI radio team. Each weekday morning from 9 to noon, I'm live on KAHI. We tackle issues like cholesterol, diabetes, women's health, children, geriatrics, relationships, and more. And with all that's going on in Washington, we even touch on government and policies impacting your health. The Dr. Dahlia Show is also a live call-in medical talk show that answers your questions on the air. Join me, Dr. Dahlia, Monday through Friday from 9 to noon here on FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI, the voice of the foothills.
I can't stay awake any longer, George.
It'll be on right after the Night Owl movie.
It's 4:30 in the morning.
It's a fantastic 10-second commercial, Helen, and I'm standing right there pointing to the car. Gramps!
What, you on yet, Georgie?
Not yet, but you're falling asleep.
What's this on my forehead?
Cheese dip, Gramps.
You fell asleep in the cheese dip.
Must have fallen asleep with the cheese dip.
Oh, George, why does your TV commercial have to be on so late?
Our ad budget could only afford fringe time, but that's okay, because a lot of people are up to... Gramps!
I'm up. Are you on the TV?
No, but soon.
Well, I'm all set right here next to the TV. I wouldn't miss you for...
If your advertising isn't reaching the people you want, radio definitely will. With its many different formats, radio reaches every lifestyle. So you can target more messages to exactly who you want, when you want, at a price you can still afford.
Okay, Helen, here it comes.
Oh, Gramps, it's George! It's George!
Oh, I'll get it. Let me turn off the TV first. Hello, George. Must have hung up.
Oh, brother.
Want to wake up your advertising? Try radio. It's right on the button. A message from the Radio Advertising Bureau.
So, first day of school, last day of your lives.
Bang, bang! You're dead! Today is the day.
The day my massacre begins.
I want to go down as the best school shooter in history.
These are all real threats made by school shooters, but everyone thought they were joking. Sandy Hook Promise reminds you to always take threats of violence seriously. Learn the warning signs at sandyhookpromise.org.
As you age, you may have questions about finding transportation, healthy meals, or other services around your home and in your community. And the Elder Care Locator has the answers at 1-800-677-1116. Our caring advisors can connect you to trustworthy local experts and the support you need to age well at home. Real people, real assistance, and real connections are just a phone call away with the Elder Care Locator. 1-800-677-1116.
29 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:29 a.m. And hey, good morning to you, Colfax. Currently 70 degrees right now. Looking for a high today of 83 degrees. Not a bad shape there. All right, there's the sports ball music. Let's get right into it. We are starting in the MLB. Giants versus the Mets. Yesterday, they wrapped up a 3-game series in New York. Giants showing up big time on this last game. Casey Schmidt went yard for a 3-run homer. Here's what it sounded like from the ballpark.
Being back here in New York. Now a drive to left by Schmidt to the wall. Gone! Casey Schmidt. The exclamation point to this one. His 6th home run of the year. And it's 12-2 Giants.
12-2 Giants, and the Giants, that's where they would stop the scoring, but that was more than enough they needed to win over the Mets. The final score there was, well, turn that down there. The final score was 12-4. Giants take that one right there. Other scores from around the MLB: Orioles versus the Cubbies. Cubbies win that one 5-3. Pirates versus the Rockies. Pirates on top there, 9-5. Speaking of the Pirates, Giants will be playing the Pirates today. They start a 3-game series in Pittsburgh. That's going to be at 3:40 p.m. this afternoon. So make sure you're catching the Giants here on KAHI this afternoon at 3:40 p.m. versus the Pittsburgh Pirates. D-backs versus the A's yesterday. Diamondbacks win that one 6-4. White Sox versus the Angels. Angels fly away with a win there, 8-5. Padres versus the Cardinals. Padres on top there, 7-3. Mariners versus the Rangers. Mariners on top there, 5-4. Other scores around here: Dodgers versus the Rays. Dodgers win that one 3-0. Astros versus the Red Sox. Red Sox on top there, 6-1. Going into Formula One yesterday, it was the Hungarian Grand Prix. It was a McLaren 1-2 finish. Lando Norris gets the top step there. Oscar Piastri, his teammate in McLaren, gets the second part of the podium there. And George Russell from Mercedes got the third step there in third place. Fourth place, Charles Leclerc from Ferrari. Fernando Alonso, fifth place. Gabriel Bortoleto, sixth place. Lance Stroll, seventh place. Another Aston Martin driver there. Liam Lawson, 8th place. Max Verstappen, 9th place. And rounding out the top 10, Kimi Antonelli from Mercedes. We'll be back with your KAHI weather right after this.
We all know that money spent on politicians is nothing more than a bribe. Citizens United called it free speech, but we know better. But what if we could balance the scale a few bucks at a time? That's what we're doing at the Six Pack, taking small donations and adding them up to make things more fair. Crack open some change. Support the Six Pack. Paid for by the Six Pack, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. www.thesixpack.com. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
My Monday forecast is calling for dry weather, sunny weather, warm weather today. You'll be in the mid-80s, a southwest wind about 6 to 12 miles per hour. This area of high pressure will keep us dry overnight, mostly clear skies, around 58, 59 for the low. Tuesday and Wednesday with high pressure locked in, it looks like mostly sunny skies will continue. The high around 87 Tuesday and about 92 on Wednesday. This is meteorologist Tim Root from FM 104.5 and AM 950 KAHI.
Hey there, KAHI listeners. Producer Adam here to remind you that Chris in the Morning really is the best way to start your day. And he's not paying me to say this at all. Wink. And yes, he really is holding it down in beautiful Studio A in the KAHI Worldwide Headquarters Studios, Monday through Fridays, 6 to 9 a.m. Chris in the Morning here on FM 104.5, AM 950, and streaming all over the world at KAHI.com. Now where is that $3 gift card he said he'd leave me for saying nice things about him? Man, that guy's a cheapskate.
Small businesses are the heart of America. But you don't have to go it alone. As the nation's largest nonprofit resource of expert business mentoring, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses for free. Get the connections, education, and guidance you need with SCORE. We're ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
33 minutes past the top of the hour, 8:33 a.m. Gang, that is going to do it for me today. My thanks for Placer County Supervisor Cindy Gustafson calling in today, having a little bit of a chat. Ray, I saw your question that came in. We will save that for when we talk to Cindy again. Thanks so much for doing that. If she's going to call in first Mondays of the month, so if you have a question for Cindy, shoot me an email, live@khi.com. That's live@khi.com. We'll be sure to put that on the list there. Until we see each other again early tomorrow morning, as always, remember to be kind, be honest, be yourself, and remember, you can't hate somebody if you're hugging them. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Again, if today's your birthday, happy stinking birthday to you. See you bright and early tomorrow morning. Back now to JT in the morning.
In recent years, so I'm not going to get creative with the law. We're going to read the plain language, and if Section 202 of the Clean Air Act gets amended by Congress, then we'll follow that new law.
So Lee Zeldin, again, talking about taking away one of the tools of the next great health emergency. And that's what this all is. So there was a horse race. Once they learned what they could do to the American economy under the threat of galactic health emergency, see SARS-CoV-2, see how many people you still see walking around with woke masks on. How many people? Did you text me at 434-882-4217. How many people do you still see on August 4th of 2025 Anno Domini are still walking around with woke masks on? Long after even Tony Take the Shot, Leave the Cannoli Fauci admitted, yeah, it was all hokey. Yet they're still wearing them. And I'll guarantee that at least half of them think it's to protect themselves and not other people, even though the science, if there was any science of the woke mask, was to keep your murderous spittle away from your neighbors. President Biden himself told Anderson Cooper 490, everyone's talking about their rights, Anderson. You don't have a right to kill me with your COVID. You were a loaded weapon, leading many people to think that the next great intergalactic health emergency would be gun violence, and it was a horse race. It was a horse race. Was it going to be climate change and the rising sea and the disappearing spotted lanternfly, or was it going to be gun violence and mass shootings, which was going to be the next health emergency that the authoritarians would use to protect us? Lee Zeldin, using his authority as EPA administrator, said, we're not going to use the mere byproduct of human existence as a weapon anymore. But that's what they wanted to do. It's climate change. We need population control. Why, their narrative has already created downturns in live human births across the planet. And all of it born of the ultimate in eugenics. No, not Sidney Sweeney. Paul Ehrlich. Ehrlich sounds like a good Gestapo officer to me. Paul Ehrlich. Ehrlich. Hypothesized in the late 60s that we had too many people, and certainly too many of the wrong kind of people. And that's the Bible of this movement, this dark, dehumanizing Nazi movement. So while they play Nazi, who's got the Nazi with Sidney Sweeney? Oh, see, she's a Republican. Bet she voted for Trump in 24. Just like Jason Kessler in Charlottesville supported Trump and then was a Nazi. The real eugenicists are the ones who want to control human births, want to kill human babies. We have a constitutional amendment that I'm told I'm told by the experts, and I don't believe it, I've talked to people like, no, the Republican Party is suiting up for this to try to stop a constitutional amendment that would allow people to kill a baby right up to the moment they're being born. Right up to that moment. Simply based on a doctor saying mom seems stressed. And I'm not even exaggerating that point. So while everyone's running around, saying, oh, the Sydney Sweeney stuff is, oh, guess your genes, that must be a eugenics quote, they're out there going after Lee Zeldin for taking away the weapon in their one final solution, which is galactic climate change, and the very byproduct of human existence was the grandest, most dangerous pollutant since we stopped spitting COVID-19 at each other. You might as well just smother me with one of the Mike Lindell pillows, Joe. Keep exhaling carbon dioxide, you filthy factory of death. That's their mindset. I feel bad for the gun grabbers because the climate change people have moved into the lead, but at least thanks to Lee Zeldin, they may lose their chief weapon. Amongst our weapons are surprise, and no one expects the climate inquisition. Biggles, bring in the comfy chair. We satirize because these people need to be satirized, because they're so puffed up full of their own carbon dioxide that if you don't satirize them, they metastasize, and then you can't get rid of them. And I don't mean in that way. I'm not talking about eugenics, but they are. And they want to lock you down, and they want to regulate how many children you can have and how far you can travel to work. We already see this in places like England, where if you stay within a 3-block square area, your taxes are lower than if you have to travel further than that to go to work, even if you bicycle or walk. Because the further you go, the more carbon dioxide you put out. It's why they regulate cows as if somehow cows were some grand creator of methane. College campuses create more methane than the average cattle farm. But we have to tax cattle farms prohibitively to stop that methanous release. And what do you do with that tax revenue? Well, we spend it on green programs. So you give it to people as rebates from the high cost of buying something that doesn't produce a cost-benefit analysis that would be amenable to a regular market economy. But if I subsidize it, well, then, it might even break even. And that's the real problem in this, is that none of this is about making the planet healthier. It's about making their sponsors wealthier. That's what they want to do, is they want to push your money that you'll have to spend in an attempt to avoid the fines. As we investigated last week, there are states like California and Virginia that have built internal statewide regulations that are shutting down power plants as we speak. An entire gasoline refinery in California is shutting down power plants in Virginia while we're moving in data centers. It's almost like they're trying to make the case. 70% of the internet traffic on the planet goes through Virginia for at least a little while. Is because of all the data centers here, especially in Northern Virginia. Yet we keep closing down electric generating plants. Why? Because the law says so. The law that was based on the EPA saying that the very byproduct of human existence is the most terrifying threat to human existence. Laughably, they yet were able to make that case that human existence threatens human existence. Film at 11. But it's what they've done. and it's dark, but it's brilliant. You have to at least acknowledge the fact that it's frighteningly brilliant, that they were able to somehow make being a human dangerous to being a human. But if you look at the programs of the American left, it's actually not all that surprising, because it's, your kind of.
Hi, it's Mark Falter, host of the Financial Fitness Show. I strongly believe that no one should ever pay 1 penny more in taxes than they are legally obligated. Unfortunately, for most hardworking Americans, this just isn't the case. Why? Because most people spend more time planning next weekend's getaway than trying to ensure they're going to pay less in taxes. My financial fitness team has put together some materials that I know are going to help you. It's the Tax Savings Kit. Tax Savings Kit includes 3 things: free tax analysis, top 10 ways to pay less in taxes, and an investor's guide to taxes. Now, how do you get it? Simple. 866-764-2635. Again, 866-764-2635. I'm Mark Falter. This is Financial Fitness, making personal finance profitable.
Bill O'Reilly here. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Coming up next, the news with Mike Slater.
Thank you, Bill. It is Monday, August 4th, 2025. Here's what's happening today in America. BLS fired. The tables are turned. ICE attackers charged. And Democrats threatened with arrest. That's all coming up. Then Bill's going to be here with your message of the day. The Labor Department reported that employers added only 73,000 jobs in July. That's below the threshold of monthly job growth that's necessary to keep up with just population growth. Also, the Bureau of Labor Statistics massively revised downward the job gains for the prior 2 months. Trump wrote on Truth Social, today's job numbers were rigged in order to make the Republicans and me look bad. He fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Trump's economic advisor said what we need is a fresh set of eyes over the BLS. The Trump administration is investigating ex-Trump prosecutor Jack Smith. The U.S. Office of Special Counsel is looking into Jack Smith for his possible violations of the Hatch Act, which says government workers are not allowed to take part in certain political activities. Senator Tom Cotton from Arkansas said he asked the agency to investigate Jack Smith on the premise that some of his actions, such as seeking quick trial dates in 2 criminal cases against President Trump, were designed to influence the 2024 election. The Trump administration is cracking down against suspects for attacking ICE agents. One of the Border Patrol leaders in California highlighted the service of an arrest warrant on a U.S. citizen accused of assaulting federal agents involved in enforcing immigration laws in Los Angeles. He said this U.S. citizen is accused of assaulting a federal agent by spitting on him. Our agents swiftly served him a warrant. California may coddle criminals, but we don't. If you assault a federal agent, you earn federal consequences. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Oregon also arrested a man who threw a rock at ICE officers, hit one of them in the head. Another case in L.A., an illegal alien was running from ICE agents and ran into a surgery center, while 2 medical clinic workers were arrested and charged with assaulting a federal agent and conspiracy to prevent by force and intimidation a federal officer from discharging his duties. Texas state legislators have finalized the new congressional maps in their state. Democrats will lose 5 congressional seats. In protest, Democrats are planning to leave the state to break the quorum of this special legislative session. The Attorney General, Ken Paxton, said, I support the immediate arrest of these rogue lawmakers who have fled their duties. These radical Democrats are spitting in the face of every Texan they swore to represent. This is cowardice and dereliction of duty, and they should face the full force of the law without apology. If anyone you know ever says that this is gerrymandering, just mention that California, about 40% of the state votes Republican every election, but it is such a gerrymandered state that Republicans only make up 17% of the congressional delegation. I'm Mike Slater. I have a podcast called Politics by Faith. Bill O'Reilly has your message of the day. Next.
Homeowners, when is the last time you checked on your home title? If your answer is never, then this is for you. Scammers are stealing titles, and your equity is a target. Criminals forge your signature. Just like that, your home title can be transferred out of your name. That's why I partnered up with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim. Please use my promo code BILL at HomeTitleLock.com. and you'll get a free title history report. Plus, you will get a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts of any changes, and if fraud does happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code BILL.